Chapter 532. If it weren't for the divine ancestors' order to warn me of the dangers of this plan, I might have really died at your hands. The 10,000 mountain cauldron's eyes were cold and indifferent. A set of heavy armor appeared on its body, and it held a giant saber in its hand. That's fake. Sure Tiangang looked at the ground that had been burned to ashes by the divine talisman, and his eyes froze. Sun Gushing went all out, even sacrificing his own life to create an opportunity for them to succeed. It wasn't the 10,000 mountain cauldron's true body? I originally wanted to keep you alive so that you could be of some use, but now you can all die. As the 10,000 mountain cauldron spoke, the giant saber in its hand filled with divine inscriptions and a vast divine might. Sure Tiangang and the others, who were suppressing the rampaging divine power in their bodies, paled and could only do their best to resist. Whoosh! But suddenly, an almost undetectable sound broke through the air. Who is it? The 10,000 mountain cauldron, who had been swinging its saber, changed its attack and turned around to slash out. With a bang, a chaotic and terrifying shockwave exploded and swept out in all directions. Whoosh! A figure flashed through the air, and a three-colored light appeared. Immediately, the people of Sky Emperor Palace in the Sacred Palace all disappeared. When the chaotic shockwave dissipated, a figure appeared in front of the 10,000 mountain cauldron. Hand over Sky Emperor Palace and the others, and I'll leave your corpse intact. Seeing Sure Tiangang and the others disappear, the 10,000 mountain cauldron's face darkened as it coldly stared at the person who had appeared. Leave my corpse intact? If it's you, you're still lacking. The only person who could rush over at this time was naturally Qin Yu. In fact, when Sun Gushing had used the secret technique, Qin Yu had already used the heaven evasion technique to pass through the barrier. However, because he saw that the 10,000 mountain cauldron wasn't its true body, he couldn't find it. Thus, Qin Yu restrained himself and didn't attack. You're courting death. The 10,000 mountain cauldron was enraged. It stepped forward and slashed out with its giant saber. A dazzling saber light tore through the air and slashed at Qin Yu. Halfway through the attack, the saber light immediately split into several rays, forming an encirclement attack. Break! Qin Yu was not afraid at all. Divine light flickered in his hand, and a pitch-black divine spear appeared. Shortly after, the dragon patterns in his body spread to his flesh, blood, and bones. Vast divine power surged out of his body as he charged forward. Rumble! With a stab of his spear, the several destructive blade lights were shattered by Qin Yu before they could even get close to Qin Yu. As the void trembled, the pitch-black spear pierced through the air like a shinran, viciously stabbing toward the myriad mountain cauldron. He actually has such a vast amount of divine power? The 10,000 mountains cauldron was shocked by Qin Yu's burst of divine power, but its reaction was also very fast. The treasured saber in its hand slashed out like a hurricane. The flickering of the saber lights dazzled everyone's eyes. There were too many to count. Moreover, every single blade light contained the might of a Tao art that caused one's heart to tremble. Qin Yu's gaze sharpened. All the destructive saber lights were blocked. Not a single one managed to land on Qin Yu. Dang 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 dang. Within the spacious sacred hall, Qin Yu and the myriad mountain cauldron engaged in an intense battle. Both sides used their most powerful killing moves, divine powers, and secret arts, vowing to kill the other party. This person's battle power is probably not below Shi Tiangong's. The heavenly imperial palace is indeed hiding an expert. The longer the battle dragged on, the more shocked the myriad mountain cauldron became. Qin Yu was not using Xin Feng's appearance right now. He had disguised himself as an ordinary-looking man and used the combination of the chaotic sky divine array, ancient divine power, and the battle dragon's secret art. The myriad mountain cauldron naturally could not recognize Qin Yu. If it were any other time, I would not be able to take you down in a short amount of time, but now. A cold smile appeared on the myriad mountain cauldron's face. After another fierce clash, the ancient and profound divine power of the primordial era flashed from his body. Specks of divine light swept through the world and merged into Qin Yu's body. Divine chaos. Seeing this, the cold smile on the myriad mountain cauldron's face deepened. Its war saber floated in the air as its hands rapidly formed a hand seal. Immediately, a powerful chaotic ripple spread from Qin Yu's body. That Qin Yu who was rushing over explosively with his vast divine energy suddenly stiffened. Then, he fell from the sky. Die! The myriad mountain cauldron laughed maniacally as it charged forward with its saber in hand. That incomparably frightening might seem to be able to split even the heavens. Destroy! But suddenly, the chaotic divine power ripple on Qin Yu's body disappeared. Qin Yu, who had fallen from the sky, suddenly shot up into the sky without any warning. This sudden change caused the myriad mountain cauldron to turn pale with fright. Pucci! A pitch-black spear light flashed through the void, and the myriad mountain's cauldron was pierced through by the pitch-black spear light. A huge bloody hole appeared in the myriad mountain cauldron's chest. If it had not used its divine powers and secret arts to move to the side at the last moment, it would have been its head that had been blasted. You can actually control the ancient divine power. Who are you? The moment it was attacked, the myriad mountain cauldron immediately retreated. It sensed that the chaotic ancient divine power ripple on Qin Yu's body had disappeared, and its pupils shrank in shock. The ultimate move of the Heaven Realm's Dizun, which had been tested time and time again, was actually ineffective against Qin Yu. This was completely out of the myriad mountain cauldron's expectations. That was why it was unable to defend in time and was hit by the heavy cannon, almost dying at the hands of Qin Yu. I'm the one who will kill you. Qin Yu's eyes were cold as he charged forward with his spear without any hesitation. Do you really think that you can fight me after injuring me by luck? The myriad mountain cauldron was furious, and its face twisted. The bloody hole in its chest quickly healed by using a secret art. Qin Yu's combat strength was indeed comparable to Shi Tiangong's. However, it could clearly sense that Qin Yu had used the chaotic sky divine array and the ancient divine power to have such combat strength. Without the two, Qin Yu's combat strength was far inferior to theirs. Therefore, even though the myriad mountain cauldron was heavily injured, it was not afraid of Qin Yu even if it did not interfere with the ancient divine power in Qin Yu's body. After all, their cultivations were all obtained through steady cultivation. Compared to Qin Yu, who relied on external forces, their foundation was much more stable. Now, no one in the Sky Emperor Palace could help Qin Yu. As long as it was not careless, the myriad mountain cauldron did not believe that it could not take down Qin Yu. Qin Yu's lips curled into a cold smile. He did not reduce his speed at all, and instead charged forward at an even faster speed. 9 slashes of the God King, shattering heaven and destroying earth. The myriad mountain cauldron clenched the hilt of his saber with both hands and used the 1,000 martial sects, former God King's ultimate move. As the divine master of the 1,000 martial sect, the God King bloodline in the 1,000 mountain cauldron's body was naturally not weaker than Wan Wuya's. Therefore, the God King's 9 fists had been modified by the myriad mountain cauldron, and its power had increased. As the blades slashed out, 9 dazzling blade lights shot out like 9 ferocious dragons. They bared their fangs and claws as they pounced at Qin Yu, as if wanting to tear Qin Yu to pieces. Wherever the 9 sharp blade lights passed, the space around the sacred hall, which was filled with barriers, seemed to be torn apart by the blade lights. From this, one could see how terrifying this move of the myriad mountain cauldron was. Chapter 533. Don't think that you're the only one who can mess with divine power. The cold smile on the face of Qin Yu, who was thrusting out with his spear, grew even more intense. A mysterious ripple spread from the divine power imprint. Rumble! An extremely chaotic divine power ripple came from the 10,000 mountain cauldron. The 10,000 mountain cauldron could control ancient divine power because it had ancient divine power in its body. Moreover, the 10,000 mountain cauldron's ancient divine power far surpassed Kong Shadding's in both quantity and power. Thus, when Qin Yu controlled the divine power imprint to mess with the ancient divine power in the 10,000 mountain cauldron, half of the 10,000 mountain cauldron's body exploded. More than half of the myriad mountain cauldron's body exploded, and blood spurted out. Oh no! The 10,000 mountain cauldron's eyes widened, and a strange ripple appeared in its emperor soul. Whoosh! At this moment, Qin Yu's figure flashed through the air and shattered the terrifying 9 slashes of the God King. In a flash, he appeared in front of the 10,000 mountain cauldron and pierced its head with his spear. Sealing divine light spread and the soul-devouring curse gathered. The 10,000 mountain cauldron's emperor soul was immediately suppressed and sealed. How did you do it? As a peak emperor expert, the 10,000 mountain cauldron's head was pierced and its emperor soul was suppressed. It still had a shocking amount of life force and had not completely died. However, at the moment of its death, the 10,000 mountain cauldron's eyes were filled with endless confusion. The reason why Qin Yu was able to ignore the interference of his divine power before was because he had completely refined the ancient era's divine power. Just now, Qin Yu had clearly done the same thing and could interfere with other people's divine power. This was not refining, but completely controlling. After all, suppressing ancient divine power, interfering with ancient divine power, and burning ancient divine power. This was a supreme secret technique that only the high-level experts of the Outerium Devil race were able to grasp. Now, Qin Yu could also do this, which shocked the 10,000 mountain cauldron. Soul-devouring curse, soul-refining, even though Qin Yu was about to die, he was not stupid enough to reveal his trump card. The moment he suppressed the 10,000 mountain cauldron's emperor soul, Qin Yu immediately used the soul-devouring curse to search the 10,000 mountain cauldron's soul. Judging from the myriad mountain cauldron's appearance, it was clearly related to the extraterritorial devil race. This time, the myriad martial sect was preparing to invade the heavenly imperial palace. It was definitely related to the extraterritorial devil race's overall plan. Therefore, Qin Yu wanted to take this opportunity to figure out the extraterritorial devil's intentions. However, Qin Yu's soul-searching seemed to have triggered some kind of restriction. Pitch-black evil demonic flames appeared in the sovereign spirit of the myriad mountains cauldron, and the entire cauldron burned. Even Qin Yu's soul-devouring curse was ignited. This was a flame born from ancient divine power. Even the golden heaven incinerating fire could not devour it. In an instant, the myriad mountain cauldron's sovereign spirit was burned to ashes. Even its physical body was burned to ashes. Qin Yu raised his eyebrows slightly. Just now, Qin Yu had vaguely seen the myriad mountain cauldron within the blazing demonic flames. It was looking at him from an extremely far distance, completely unharmed. Could it be that this isn't the main body? Qin Yu's eyes flashed. The myriad mountain cauldron was known as one of the top sovereigns of the spiritual state. However, judging from its previous combat strength, it really did not have the strength of a top sovereign spirit of the spiritual state. Of course, it could also be because of the suppression and interference of the ancient divine power, causing it to be unable to display its strength at all. It was the same as Shi Tiangang and the others. Boom! At this moment, an explosion came from Qin Yu's Summer ring. As the myriad mountain cauldron was killed, the chaotic ancient divine power in the bodies of the people of the Sky Emperor Palace calmed down. The two sides, which were originally absorbed into the 3 universe rings at different levels, directly shattered and the 3 universe rings appeared. The moment the myriad mountain cauldron's sovereign spirit self-ignited, spiritual state, myriad martial peak. The myriad martial sect, one of the 7 top forces of the spiritual state, was located on this giant peak. In a palace in the core area of the myriad martial sect, a figure suddenly opened his eyes, and a vast divine power spread out. This person was the Saint Master of the Myriad Martial Sect, the Myriad Mountain Cauldron. The situation was as Qin Yu had expected. The Myriad Mountain Cauldron that he had killed was not the Myriad Mountain Cauldron's true body. However, the Myriad Mountain Cauldron's current divine power could not hide its weakness. If I hadn't cultivated the 5 elements divine clone, I would have died in the Sky Emperor Palace. Where did that person come from? The Myriad Mountain Cauldron swallowed several ancient spirit pills, and its expression was extremely gloomy. It wanted nothing more than to grind Qin Yu's bones to dust. The 5 elements divine clone was an extremely powerful divine power that was condensed from the ancient divine power. When cultivated to the peak, one could condense 5 clones. The Myriad Mountain Cauldron had been destroyed by Shi Tiangang, was the 5 elements divine clone. Similarly, Qin Yu had also killed the 5 elements divine clone. The only difference was that the clone used to deal with Shi Tiangang, and the others was the 5 elements divine clone. However, when fighting with Qin Yu, it was the Myriad Mountain Cauldron's true body. However, the instant Qin Yu interfered with his ancient divine power, the Myriad Mountain Cauldron felt an intense sense of danger. Therefore, he immediately used a forbidden technique and swapped places with the 5 elements divine clone in the Myriad Martial Sect. Although he had to pay a huge price to use this forbidden technique. However, compared to losing his life, this price was much better. The Sky Emperor Palace plan is cancelled. After thinking for a moment, an ancient jade stone appeared in the Myriad Mountain Cauldron's hand. After saying this, the Myriad Mountain Cauldron directly crushed the ancient jade stone. The Myriad Mountain Cauldron was informing the hundreds of Emperor Realm Masters who were heading to the Sky Emperor Palace. Qin Yu could completely control the ancient divine power, and the hundreds of Emperor Realm Masters had also fused with the ancient divine power. If he were to be plotted against by Qin Yu, he would most likely end up with a 90% chance of dying. It was not easy to nurture so many Emperor Realm Masters in the Heaven Domain, and they could not throw them all away before they had achieved anything. Not long after the 10,000 Mountain Cauldron gave the order, 2 figures barged into the cauldron. Holy Master? The 2 people who came in were the white-bearded old man and the white-haired young man. They were originally puzzled, but when they saw the heavily injured Myriad Mountain Cauldron, their faces changed. The Myriad Mountain Cauldron was actually so heavily injured. Could it have encountered a divine Emperor Realm Master? Immediately send a secret message to the divine ancestor. The plan to invade the Heaven Domain is temporarily suspended. The Myriad Mountain Cauldron sat cross-legged and said while refining the spirit pill in his body, "Holy Master, what happened?" The white-bearded old man and the white-haired young man were both shocked. They could only cooperate with the divine ancestor's plan. As for stopping it, they did not have the right. If they acted rashly, the divine ancestor would blame them, and it would be difficult for them to even die. There is already someone in the Heaven Domain who can completely control the ancient divine power. His control is enough to crush me. The Myriad Mountain Cauldron said solemnly. It can't be. How is that possible? The white-bearded old man and the white-haired young man both turned pale and were shocked. Controlling the ancient divine power was a supreme secret technique that the divine ancestor and the others had comprehended after countless years of research. How could the Heaven Domain completely control the ancient divine power in such a short period of time? Is it someone from the Heavenly Imperial Palace? The white-haired young man looked at the heavily injured Myriad Mountain Cauldron and asked hurriedly. This person indeed knows the divine ability of the Heavenly Imperial Palace, but the other means he has are not the secret techniques of the Heavenly Imperial Palace. We need to investigate carefully, the Myriad Mountain Cauldron said as Qin Yu's disguised appearance was revealed. Chapter 534. Could it be that the news from the central continent of the Heaven region is true? The white-bearded elder seemed to have thought of something and said in shock. What news? The myriad mountain cauldron and the white-shirt youth both looked over. Rumor has it that there is a force in the middle continent that has been secretly studying the primordial divine power. However, that was a few years ago. The divine ancestor didn't mention the primordial divine power project, so I didn't pay much attention to it. The white-bearded elder said. The middle continent? Which force is it? The myriad mountain cauldron looked very serious. This was no small matter. The middle continent was the place where the top experts of the Qin Yun realm gathered. Although there were many forces and clans there, the spiritual state couldn't compare at all. They still hadn't found out how deep the middle continent's waters were. At that time, I only heard some rumors and didn't find any clues. At that time, I thought it was just a rumor. Now that I think about it, it's very likely that someone wiped out the source of the news. The white-bearded elder shook his head slightly. If he had found out, he would have reported it to the divine ancestor. It was because he couldn't find any clues that he didn't take this matter seriously. Let's send this news back as well. The divine ancestor's plan in the Qin Yun realm is far beyond our imagination. There should be a way to find out the origin of this person and whether the news is true or false. The myriad mountain cauldron said. The white-bearded elder and the white-shirt youth left quickly after hearing this. At the same time, in the heavenly imperial palace in the northern region of the spiritual state, the people of the myriad martial sect really withdrew their troops and left. At the peak of the heavenly imperial palace, Shi Tiangang heaved a sigh of relief after receiving news of the myriad martial sect's movements from the spies. Shi Tianyun, Sun Jiuxiao, and the other core sovereigns also relaxed. Although they were all people who had experienced life and death battles, today's unforeseen event was still terrifying. Even now, they still felt fear in their hearts, as if they had survived a calamity. If it wasn't for the mysterious person's sudden appearance, all of them would have died at the hands of the myriad mountain cauldron. Palace Master, who is that person? After the danger was resolved, the attention of many descendants of the three emperors had descended onto Qin Yu, who'd disguised himself. Not only did he save Sun Xiu and the other members of the three royal families, but he also captured the clansmen of the 12 war generals. More importantly, the myriad mountain cauldron seemed to have been forced back by him. This made everyone from the Sky Emperor Palace curious about Qin Yu's background. He's a good friend of mine. Don't reveal anything about him to anyone else. Otherwise, I'll punish you severely. The other three empresses did not know, but Shi Tiangang, Sun Jiuxiao, and Sun Yunlang could roughly guess. Under such circumstances, who else in the Sky Emperor Palace could appear at such a critical moment and have the strength to repel the myriad mountains cauldron? Other than Qin Yu, they really couldn't think of a second person. And Qin Yu was nowhere to be seen until now, which further confirmed their guesses. Then, how should we deal with the 12 generals and the others? When the descendants of the three emperors heard this, they thought that Qin Yu was someone important and did not inquire further. Instead, they asked a more difficult question. I'll deal with this matter. You guys are in charge of the defense of the palace to prevent others from taking advantage of the loopholes. After Shi Tiangang gave his orders, he descended from midair. The other members of the Sky Emperor Palace went to make preparations. The Sky Emperor Palace had just experienced a great battle between the 6 sects launched by the evil sacrificial god court and had suffered a lot of losses. This time, the descendants of the war generals had colluded with the myriad mountain cauldron. Not only was Sun Gushing's life uncertain, but the battle strength of the 12 generals could no longer be used. The Sky Emperor Palace could be said to be extremely weak now. Once the 10,000 martial sect spread the news, it was very likely that there would be a great upheaval. And the ones that they needed to guard against the most were the Tianyang Holy Land and the Sage Divine Dynasty. The world of martial artists practiced the law of the jungle, where the strong preyed on the weak. A lion would only see a rabbit as food and would not join forces with it. If the Tianyang Holy Land and the Sage Divine Dynasty knew that the strength of the Sky Emperor Palace had been reduced by half, what would they do? They could not predict what they would do. Therefore, the treatment of the descendants of the 12 generals had always been a big problem in their mind. Of course, other than the 12 generals, there was another big problem, which was the primordial divine power that had been integrated into the true Yuan. They had to think of a way to completely purify the primordial divine power. The myriad mountain cauldron had only used Ji Jing to trap them, but all of them were no match for the myriad mountain cauldron alone. The suppression of the primordial divine power and the threat of chaos were like a sharp blade hanging over their heads that could kill them at any time. But now, the situation was special. All of them would have to go into seclusion to think of a way to purify and expel the primordial divine power. Sun Jiuxiao and Sun Yunlang went to check on Sun Guxing. Among the descendants of the 3 kings, Sun Guxing was the one with the most serious injuries. Whether Sun Guxing could survive was still another matter. Because of this, Sun Jiuxiao and Sun Yunlang could not wait to tear Qi Shiri and the other war generals' descendants into pieces. Xin Feng, there are no outsiders now, so there's no need to disguise yourself. Shi Tiangang appeared in a palace hall and said to Qin Yu, who had turned into an unprepossessing appearance, "As expected, you saw through me." Qin Yu smiled and returned to Xin Feng's appearance. "I have something to ask you." Shi Tiangang saw this and said, "About the primordial divine power?" Qin Yu asked. "That's right. How did you control the primordial divine power?" Shi Tiangang nodded slightly. After the myriad mountain cauldron disappeared, they, Qi Shiri and the others broke the 3 universe rings and rushed out. Originally, Qi Shiri and the others did not want to be captured without putting up a fight. In the end, Qin Yu secretly used the same method as the myriad mountain cauldron, directly causing the primordial divine power in the 12 war generals' descendants to go berserk. This allowed them to easily suppress all the 12 war generals' emperor realm masters. It's a long story. When the primordial divine ruins appeared, I obtained an opportunity inside. Qin Yu did not tell Shi Tiangang about the divine power imprint. After all, it was useless to tell him. Without divine power crystals, it was impossible to condense the divine power imprint. Since you can control the primordial divine power, you should have a way to separate the primordial divine power from your true Yuan, right? Seeing this, Shi Tiangang did not ask any further. What he was truly concerned about was the primordial divine power that had fused with his true Yuan. As long as the primordial divine power in his true Yuan was purified, whether he could control the primordial divine power or not would have no effect on them. The primordial divine power that you have fused with your true Yuan has already completely fused with it. If you want to expel it, you have to start from the true Yuan origin in your Dantian. You should know what this means, right? Qin Yu said. Shi Tiangang's brows twitched. He understood the meaning of Qin Yu's words. To an ordinary cultivator, true essence source, Tao technique comprehension, and sovereign spirit energy were all indispensable. If any of these were damaged, then their cultivation would be reduced by half a point, and they would have to give up on the martial Tao. Chapter 535. Qin Yu said that he had to start from the Dantian and concentrate all the true Yuan in his body into his Dantian. This also meant that Shi Tiangang had to let go of his defenses and let Qin Yu enter the Dantian. It could be said that Shi Tiangang was defenseless during this period. If Qin Yu had any evil thoughts, he could cause fatal damage to Shi Tiangang. If the person who attacked was Shi Tianyun, Sun Jiuxiao, or the others, Shi Tiangang would naturally have no qualms. But Qin Yu, who might be a reincarnated powerhouse, made Shi Tiangang suspicious. Before he figured out Qin Yu's identity as a reincarnator, he really didn't dare to let Qin Yu attack. "Follow me." After thinking for a moment, Shi Tiangang looked deeply at Qin Yu and walked into the depths of the hall. Qin Yu raised his eyebrows slightly and followed. At the end of the hall, Shi Tiangang and Qin Yu instantly entered a secret realm. Or perhaps it could be said that it was a Dao technique space. But the moment he stepped in, Qin Yu's eyes flashed. This path law space was also left behind by my ancestors, but it is different from the divine palace. There is no power of inheritance here. Shi Tiangang turned around and looked at Qin Yu very seriously. It seems that he has already suspected your identity and is ready to expose it. The dragon soul in the ancient seal of the dragon god spoke. Qin Yu's expression was calm. From Shi Tiangang's reaction, he could roughly guess why Shi Tiangang had brought him here. Do you know what this path law space is used for? Shi Tiangang continued. There are fluctuations of the power of reincarnation. Is it used to detect reincarnators? Qin Yu had sensed it when he came in. You are a reincarnator, right? Shi Tiangang wasn't surprised by Qin Yu's detection. He brought Qin Yu here to thoroughly confirm Qin Yu's identity as a reincarnator. That's right. Qin Yu was a little surprised that Shi Tiangang spoke so directly, but he did not deny it. Now, he had enough strength to admit this. Who are you? Shi Tiangang asked solemnly. He was naturally asking about Qin Yu's identity in his previous life. I can't tell you that. It didn't matter if he revealed that he was a reincarnator, but Qin Yu couldn't reveal his identity as the dragon god Venerable. If I didn't know your identity, how could I be at ease and allow you to stay in my Sky Emperor Palace? Shi Tiangang said. It's very simple. I can concoct the immortal Emperor pill and I also have a way to expel the ancient divine power. I believe that these 2 points are enough. Qin Yu said with a calm expression. Whether it was the immortal Emperor elixir or the expulsion of the primordial divine power, both were extremely important to Sky Emperor Palace. The former was related to the bloodline of the heavenly imperial palace. As for the latter, after experiencing what had happened today, he had no choice but to accept it. For Sky Emperor Palace, the extraction of the ancient divine power was more urgent than the refining of the immortal Emperor elixir. You were a member of my Sky Imperial Palace in your past life? Shi Tiangang heard this and asked again. Not really. Qin Yu shook his head slightly. Then what's your purpose? You wouldn't help us for no reason, right? Shi Tiangang raised his eyebrows slightly. He had really thought that Qin Yu might be a reincarnated ancestor of the Sky Emperor Palace. After all, Qin Yu had obtained the inheritance of the 3 emperors and helped them through danger time and time again. This was definitely a close relationship between them, but he didn't expect Qin Yu to deny it so bluntly. As you can see, I'm only a 2nd-grade Emperor Realm Master now. I'm nothing compared to the top masters of the Heaven Domain. So, your Sky Emperor Palace is equivalent to a temporary hiding place for me. Therefore, helping the descendants of the 3 emperors get through the danger and making you stronger is a win-win situation. Qin Yu said frankly. For Qin Yu, Sky Emperor Palace was really just a hiding place, just like the destruction of the sacrificial evil god dynasty. With Sky Emperor Palace around, everyone's attention fell on Sky Emperor Palace. No one in the outside world found out that the person who caused the destruction of the sacrificial evil god dynasty was actually him. Shi Tiangang frowned unconsciously. Qin Yu was indeed very frank. But the meaning behind his words was also quite obvious. He was using Sky Emperor Palace to recover his cultivation. An unknown reincarnation realm master had been hiding by their side all this time. No one from any great force would feel good about it. This was equivalent to a dozing beast. No one knew when this beast would wake up. Moreover, Qin Yu's cultivation was still weak now, so he had the absolute advantage over them. When his cultivation recovered to its peak, it was hard to say whether it would be a good thing or a bad thing for Sky Emperor Palace. This was a great risk for Sky Emperor Palace. After all, an existence who could be reborn from reincarnation was at least a divine Emperor Realm Master at their peak. Shi Tiangang had never heard of an ordinary Emperor Realm Master's soul being reincarnated. I know what you are worried about, but in my opinion, you don't have to be so worried. First of all, Sky Emperor Palace needs my help. Secondly, I have already obtained Sky Emperor Palace's greatest secret, the inheritance of the 3 ancient emperors. Do you think there is anything in Sky Emperor Palace that can tempt me? Of course, if you are still worried, I can leave Sky Emperor Palace now. Seeing Shi Tiangang deep in thought, Qin Yu said directly. He already had a clue about the tomb of the Dragon Emperor, and he had also obtained information about the 3 transformed dragons from AOD. As long as Qin Yu's plan succeeded, he would obtain the combat strength of several peak emperors after killing the heavenly dragon. At that time, Qin Yu's strength would expand to the point where he could deal with an entire sect alone. To Qin Yu, the heavenly imperial palace was truly something that he looked down on. Hearing Qin Yu's words, Shi Tiangang smiled bitterly. Letting Qin Yu obtain the 3 ancient emperors' divine powers was indeed their greatest dereliction of duty so far. The greatest secret they had guarded for generations had actually been obtained by an outsider. Shi Tiangang would be lying if he said he did not regret it. As for letting Qin Yu leave, that was even more impossible. In the end, they had no room to resist in front of Qin Yu. Since you are unwilling to say, then I won't ask any more. Sighing softly in his heart, Shi Tiangang did not ask any more. In the current situation, they were in an absolutely passive position and could not do anything to Qin Yu. Apart from that, there was also the divination prophecy left by their ancestors. Qin Yu was the prophesied person mentioned by the ancestor. Judging from the current situation, there was absolutely no mistake. Since their ancestors only prophesied that the bloodline of the 3 ancient emperors would be rekindled. They did not say that Qin Yu would bring about any disaster, so there should not be any problem. Of course, thinking was just thinking. They still had to take the necessary precautions. Today's matter could not happen again. Right? How is the Myriad Mountain Cauldron? Previously, the situation was urgent, so Shi Tiangang did not ask in detail. Now he wanted to know whether the Myriad Mountain Cauldron had escaped or died in Qin Yu's hands. How should I put it? Although I killed him, I might not have killed his true body. Qin Yu said. Another clone? Shi Tiangang pondered for a moment. He thought of the clone that he and Sun Guxing had jointly killed. Not only did his battle strength reach that of a peak emperor, but even he could not tell if it was real or fake. When did the 10,000 martial sect have such a terrifying secret technique? Chapter 536. The invasion of the sacrificial evil court and the actions of the 1,000 martial sect may be related to the extraterritorial demon race. If this news is released, it should have a big impact on the 1,000 martial sect. Qin Yu said. Whether it was the sacrificial evil court or the 1,000 martial sect, they could ignite and riot the ancient divine power. Qin Yu didn't believe that they had no connection with the extraterritorial demon race. As for whether the 2 sects colluded with the extraterritorial demon race or were planted by the extraterritorial demon race, this was unknown. About this, I've already sent someone to do it. A cold light flashed in Shi Tiangang's eyes. During the first battle of the sacrificial evil court, they were worried that the extraterritorial demon race would target them. Therefore, they didn't spread the news that the sacrificial evil court had the extraterritorial demon race behind them. But now, the situation in the spiritual state had turned into a confrontation in the northeast, so Shi Tiangang naturally didn't have so many concerns. Another point was that the 1,000 martial sect and the sacrificial evil court had attacked them time and time again, which made Shi Tiangang really angry. Of course, even if the news was released, it would at most cause some trouble for the 1,000 martial sect. Without conclusive evidence, the 1,000 martial sect couldn't be shaken. For the imperial palace, the most important thing was to expel the ancient divine power in their bodies and find the immortal spirit herbs to refine the immortal emperor pill. Improving their own strength was the most important thing at the moment. After chatting for a while, Qin Yu and Shi Tiangang left the secret realm. Shi Tiangang had already made a decision about the expulsion of the ancient divine power. After the storm this time died down, he would start to purify the ancient divine power. After leaving the Dao Law space, Qin Yu returned to the palace where he lived and began to study the primordial immortal force restriction that AOD brought. Although Qin Yu and Shi Tiangang seemed to have shown their cards today, and Shi Tiangang wouldn't ask about his true identity. But Qin Yu knew that was only because the Heavenly Emperor Palace was not as powerful as him. The Heavenly Emperor Palace still wouldn't have absolute trust in him. If there were external forces interfering, it would inevitably cause more trouble. Therefore, Qin Yu's own plan couldn't be disrupted. After refining the Immortal Emperor pill, I'm afraid I'll have to consider leaving. The Dragon Soul appeared and said to Qin Yu. Although the Heavenly Imperial Palace was the best place to hide at the moment, once Shi Tiangang and the others reignited their bloodlines, a Divine Emperor Realm Master might appear. At that time, there would be no more restraints on each other, and their relationship would not be so good. It's time to think about the next step of the plan. Qin Yu nodded slightly. After all, the Heavenly Imperial Palace was not a place to stay for long. After all, the sacrificial evil god dynasty was already destroyed. Qin Yu didn't need to stay in the spiritual state for long. Staying in the Heavenly Imperial Palace was only to conceal his current identity. As for Shi Tiangang, after coming out of the secret realm, he went to deal with the descendants of Qi Shi and the other 12 war generals. Although he had used Qin Yu's hand to suppress all the descendants of the 12 war generals, he was still able to do so. But how to deal with it was still a problem. It should be known that the descendants of the 12 war generals were equivalent to half the strength of the Imperial Palace of Sky. Shi Tiangang thought hard for a long time. He had originally planned to ruthlessly wipe out all the 12 war generals to prevent any future troubles. But Qi Shi and the others volunteered to be controlled by the descendants of the 3 emperors. Their purpose was to stay in the Heavenly Imperial Palace and give the descendants of the young war generals a way out. Shi Tiangang thought for a long time and agreed to the conditions of Qi Shi and the others. No matter what, the current Heavenly Imperial Palace was in urgent need of a powerful force to support it. After the problem of the descendants of the war generals was resolved, Shi Tiangang and the others began to discuss the matter of stripping the ancient divine power and preparing to seize the immortal spirit grass. After so long of investigation, they had confirmed that the immortal spirit grass had indeed appeared in the Middle State Sanctuary. It could be said that the hottest news in the Middle State was the appearance of the immortal spirit grass. Countless forces and powerhouses had gathered in the Middle State Sanctuary. So far, the immortal spirit grass had not been taken away. Therefore, the situation in the spiritual state was relatively stable, and the ancient divine power in their bodies was stripped. The Heavenly Imperial Palace and the others were about to gather their powerhouses and head to the Middle State Sanctuary. The descendants of the Heavenly Imperial Palace's war generals joined forces with the 10,000 martial sect to start a riot. One day later, news of the 10,000 martial sect colluding with the extraterritorial demon race appeared everywhere in the spiritual state. This news spread throughout the spiritual state at an astonishing speed, causing heated discussions among countless forces. Anyone with a discerning eye could see that someone wanted to drag the neutral 10,000 martial sect into the turbulent situation in the spiritual state. However, the source of the news was completely untraceable. More importantly, the 10,000 martial sect remained completely silent and did not respond at all. Just like this, the news spread for a few days and the heat slowly died down. This greatly exceeded the expectations of the Heavenly Imperial Palace. They were even prepared for the 10,000 martial sect to blatantly retaliate against them. After all, the other forces did not know who spread the news, but the 10,000 martial sect would definitely guess that it was them. In the end, not only did the 10,000 martial sect not take any action, but even the matter of the 12 war generals' descendants rebelling was not spread at all. The 10,000 martial sect's strange calmness not only did not make the heavenly imperial palace feel at ease, but it also made them feel an inexplicable sense of danger. The overly calm 10,000 martial sect was like a venomous snake lurking in the dark. No one knew when it would rush out to bite someone. Fortunately, the problem of the 12 war generals had been resolved. On the surface, the heavenly imperial palace only had 2 top sovereigns who did not appear, so the overall impact was not great. Therefore, the heavenly imperial palace, the Tianyang Holy Land, the Sage Divine Dynasty, and several other super forces. The Northwest Martial Arts Alliance, which had formed a secret alliance, became more stable and secure. This also made the heavenly imperial palace breathe a sigh of relief. Just like this, about 10 days passed. Shi Tiangang and the others finally made the decision to purify the ancient divine power in their bodies. In the heavenly imperial palace's divine palace. Remember, when condensing all of your true essence in your dantian, do not resist at all. Otherwise, it is very likely that your true essence origin will be destroyed. After changing his appearance, Qin Yu looked at Shi Tiangang and Sun Jiuxiao, who were sitting cross-legged, and said, behind the 2 of them were Shi Tianyun, Sun Yunlang, and the other descendants of the 3 sovereigns. Among the descendants of the 3 sovereigns, more than half of the high-level sovereigns were gathered here. Come. Shi Tiangang and Sun Jiuxiao nodded slightly and completely dispersed the defensive Dao techniques on their bodies. Seeing this, Qin Yu sent out a divine power imprint from his right palm. The battle dragon true essence poured into the divine imprint. In the next moment, strands of true essence and divine power appeared and seeped into the origin true essence in Shi Tiangang and Sun Jiuxiao's dantian. Many of the descendants of the 3 sovereigns, who did not know Qin Yu's identity, sized him up as their Dao techniques and true essence surged. Once they discovered that the situation was not right, they would attack Qin Yu. This was also the reason why Shi Tiangang and Sun Jiuxiao asked Qin Yu to expel the divine power first. This was to set an example for the other sovereigns of the heavenly imperial palace. Although they did not know why Qin Yu did not use Xinfeng's identity to expel the divine power, they did not know why. They could not force Qin Yu to reveal his identity. The time it took for an incense stick to burn passed by silently. Seal. Qin Yu, who had condensed the divine power in the 2 dantian's true essence into his own true essence and divine power, suddenly shouted. Then, Qin Yu flicked his finger. True essence and divine power imprints appeared in Shi Tiangang and Sun Jiuxiao's dantian and entered the divine power imprint in his palm. Chapter 537. Chirp. Vaguely, there was the sound of a bird chirping. The divine energy that was originally berserk and destructive on Qin Yu's palm rapidly disappeared. The spirit of the ancient heavenly rock had appeared and directly suppressed and refined the ancient divine power of Shi Tiangang and Sun Jiujiu. The amount of divine power they refined was far beyond Qin Yu's expectations. Qin Yu's consumed ancient era's divine energy had been replenished quite a bit. Seeing that Shi Tiangang and Sun Jiuxiao had successfully stripped away the ancient divine power, the 3 of them were all shocked. The expressions of the other descendants of the 3 emperors brightened greatly. Only then do they let down their guard against Qin Yu. The stripping of divine power from the heavenly emperor palace lasted for 3 days. Except for the unconscious Sun Gushing, everyone else's divine power was suppressed and refined by Qin Yu. The amount of ancient divine power Qin Yu obtained was several times more than what he had obtained in the primordial god's ruins. One could imagine how much ancient divine power the heavenly emperor palace had plundered during the chaos in the spiritual state. Buzz. Buzz. In the palace, Qin Yu, who had stripped away the ancient divine power of the people of the heavenly Emperor Palace, was meditating to recover. His expression changed slightly. Opening his eyes, Qin Yu flicked his finger and a talisman appeared. It was a message from AOD. "It's ready already?" Qin Yu was a little surprised. He had not finished breaking the primordial immortal power restriction. But when he poured his soul power into the talisman, Qin Yu frowned slightly. Did something happen again? The dragon's soul appeared and asked. It seems like something really did happen. Qin Yu gave the dragon's soul the talisman. The message from AOD was not that the tomb of the Dragon Emperor was ready. It was that AOD needed 3 months to prepare. That guy, is he up to something? The dragon's soul frowned slightly. Ever since they had joined forces, AOD had been constantly changing and had postponed going to the tomb of the Dragon Emperor. This made the dragon's soul suspicious. It doesn't matter what he wants to do, as long as he can enter the tomb of the Dragon Emperor. Qin Yu thought about it and did not care. With his current combat strength, it was even possible for him to take down AOD if he was well prepared. Therefore, even if AOD really wanted to scheme against him, Qin Yu was not afraid at all. If it really came to that point, Qin Yu wouldn't mind taking care of him as well. According to his plan, AOD would eventually end up in Eternal Dragon. In the outer realm, in a gigantic demonic skeleton palace. Within the Devil Palace, there were 12 gigantic and terrifying devil shadows. Terrifying devil might emanated from them, sweeping across the sky. Outside the Devil Palace of Skeletons, numerous Devil Clan experts had gathered and were standing quietly. What do you think about the news from the spirit state of the heavenly realm? A demonic figure with a horn on his head broke the oppressive silence. A few years ago, there was indeed a rumor that there were ancient emperors in the heaven domain who had thoroughly researched the primordial divine power. A demonic shadow surrounded by deep blue demonic runes said in a deep voice. If that's the case, then the heaven domain invasion plan really has to stop here. Another demonic figure spoke. The most important thing right now is to find out if the heaven domain has completely controlled the primordial divine power. Indeed. If we act rashly, we'll only alert the enemy. The other giant demonic shadows spoke one after another. The storm that was about to sweep across the heaven domain calmed down. At the same time, in the middle state of the heaven domain, the extraterritorial devil race's plan has been stopped? In a mysterious palace, 7 ancient emperors were gathered. These 7 ancient emperors weren't here in their true forms. They were just 7 Dao technique clones. That's right. According to the information sent back by our spies, the extraterritorial devil race has indeed stopped their invasion. An ancient emperor with a crown on his head spoke in a domineering voice. Could something have happened in the extraterritorial devil race? An ancient emperor in azure clothes muttered to himself, puzzled. We've already sent our spies to investigate closely, but there hasn't been any news yet. An ancient emperor in armor said, It seems like our plan has to be put on hold as well. A skinny elder spoke in a rather weak and sinister voice. Could it be that the news has been leaked? A red-haired man pondered for a moment before speaking. Those who know about the plan are all our trusted subordinate. It's impossible for them to have leaked it. The ancient emperor with the crown shook his head. In my opinion, it's better for us to investigate our own people just in case. A cold-looking man said coldly. That's true. The last woman in a palace dress nodded slightly. If that's the case, then we'll investigate internally first. After confirming that no one has leaked the information, we'll proceed with the next step of the plan. After the 7 ancient emperors conversed, their Dao technique power dissipated, and they all disappeared from the giant palace. Spiritual State, North Region, Sky Imperial Palace. You've found the exact location of the immortal spirit herb? Shi Tiangang, who was in seclusion, heard Sun Jiuxiao's words, and his expression brightened greatly. That's right. I heard that an ancient emperor expert from the Middle Region has made a move. he discovered that the immortal spirit herb that has been appearing but unable to be traced is located in a dual void mystic realm. Now, that dual void mystic realm has been sealed by an ancient emperor expert. The immortal spirit herb is also trapped in that mystic realm. Sun Jiuxiao's excited expression was tinged with a tinge of solemnity. Even an ancient emperor expert has intervened. Shi Tiangong's originally excited expression also turned solemn. This was definitely not good news for Sky Imperial Palace, which currently had no divine emperors guarding it. Moreover, only the strongest of the divine emperors could become an ancient emperor. Sky Imperial Palace had a long history, but the number of ancient emperors that had appeared could be counted on one hand. This is troublesome. Even if we use a secret technique to snatch the immortal spirit herb, I'm afraid we won't be able to bring it back to the spiritual state. Shi Tiangang muttered to himself. Palace Master, I have a plan, but I'm not sure if it'll work. Sun Jiuxiao pondered for a moment before speaking. Speak. At this time, it was better to have a plan than to be at a loss. We can immediately refine the immortal spirit herb after snatching it. Sun Jiuxiao said. Once the immortal spirit herb is refined, no matter what secret technique we use, it can only be sealed for 7 days. After 7 days, it will automatically dissipate. If we do this, Shi Tiangong's voice suddenly paused as he understood Sun Jiuxiao's meaning. As long as Shen Feng is willing to follow us to the middle state, we can definitely refine the immortal emperor pill on the spot, Sun Jiuxiao said. Shi Tiangang pondered for a moment. Sun Jiuxiao's idea was indeed feasible. Ever since news of the immortal spirit herb spread in the middle state, they had read countless ancient books and secret manuals. Finally, they found a secret technique that could allow them to capture the immortal spirit herb. Their original plan was to use that secret technique to capture the immortal spirit herb and bring it back to the spiritual state. Unfortunately, their plan could not keep up with the changes. An ancient emperor had intervened, so they had to change their original plan. However, we have to convince Shen Feng first. Although Qin Yu seemed to be a member of Sky Imperial Palace, they could not control Qin Yu at all. This made Sun Jiuxiao sigh. When Sun Xiu first came to Qin Yu's Sky Imperial Palace, she was only a mere martial ancestor. Now, in the blink of an eye, she had become an existence that they feared. Chapter 538. I'll talk to Shen Feng. After confirming that Qin Yu was a reincarnator, Shi Tiangang wasn't confident that he could convince Qin Yu. But now, he could only talk to Emperor Sky Palace. Not to mention that Qin Yu currently possessed the absolute initiative position in the Heavenly Imperial Palace. Just the fact that he was a divine emperor in his previous life meant that he couldn't be underestimated. Then I'll go and prepare. Sun Jiuxiao turned and left. Although the situation in spiritual state had stabilized due to the conflict between the martial forces in the northeast, they still couldn't leave openly. However, they still couldn't leave the Heavenly Imperial Palace openly. If they could avoid detection, they would do their best to avoid detection. Shi Tiangang pondered for a while and left the hall. Go to middle state? In the palace, Qin Yu was slightly stunned when he heard Shi Tiangong's words. That's right. The immortal spiritual herb appeared in middle state because of the intervention of the ancient emperors. So we're thinking, Shi Tiangang didn't hide anything and directly told Sun Jiuxiao's plan. Are you sure you can catch the immortal spiritual herb? Qin Yu thought for a while and asked. It's hard to say, but there's at least a 70 to 80% chance. Shi Tiangang nodded heavily. All right, let's go together. Qin Yu nodded and agreed. Seeing Qin Yu agree so readily, Shi Tiangang heaved a sigh of relief. He thought that Qin Yu would take the opportunity to raise some conditions and was prepared to pay a huge price. Now, it would appear that to Qin Yu, their Heavenly Imperial Palace was truly only a temporary hiding place. There was simply nothing for him to covet. Middle state. After Shi Tiangang left, Qin Yu muttered to himself with a deep luster in his eyes. Almost all the top experts of the heaven domain gathered in middle state. Qin Yu's enemies in his previous life, the Star Luo Empire and the 12 ancient emperors, were all powerful existences that had a firm foothold in middle state. Qin Yu wanted to take the opportunity to find out more about the 12 ancient emperors during the heaven ranking of the 9 states. Unfortunately, the appearance of the extraterritorial demon race disrupted his plan. This was a good opportunity for Shao Chun to take a good look at the central province after thousands of years and see how it had changed. In any case, Qin Yu no longer needed the protection of the Sky Emperor Palace like before. Therefore, Qin Yu could act on his own in the central state. 2 days later, the well-prepared descendants of the 3 emperors quietly left the heavenly imperial palace with Qin Yu. This time, the descendants of the 3 sovereigns were led by Shi Tiangang. Shi Tianyun, Sun Jiuxiao, and the other core sovereigns were also brought along. In addition, Qi Shi and the other top emperor realm masters, who were controlled by the seal, also went with them. It could be said that more than 90% of the Sky Emperor Palace's experts had been taken away by Shi Tiangang. In order to deal with any possible situation, the heavenly imperial palace entered the highest state, and all the clansmen entered the ancestral realm. Only Sun Yunlang, Elder Pang, and the others were responsible for the defense of the heavenly imperial palace. The central state was the place with the most top experts in the 9 states of the heaven domain. For a long time, the central continent was also known as the Saint Continent of the heaven domain. This was because the central state was where the divine veins of fortune of the heaven domain were located. In addition to the divine land and the mysterious descendants of the gods, there were also the 8 states of the heaven domain: the human race, the demon race, the alien race, and the ferocious beast. All the top experts wanted to gain a foothold in the central state and obtain the blessing of the divine veins of fortune. Therefore, although the central state was the most stable place on the surface, the chaos had never stopped. However, there were ancient forces that had flourished in the central state for countless years. Even if there was a great battle in the central state, it would only be a small-scale battle and would not spread out. This also caused most of the regions in the central state, especially the regions of the ancient forces, to be extremely prosperous, and there had never been any chaos. Of course, once there was chaos in the central state, the entire 9 states of the heaven domain would inevitably be involved. Such a thing had happened before in history. 10 days later, in the central state, in a glorious ancient city, a group of extraordinary people walked out of the ancient city's teleportation hall. This group of people was the heavenly imperial palace from the spiritual state. Although the central state was vast and boundless, it was divided into 9 regions, known as the 9 divine realms. The place where the heavenly imperial palace was now was the 9th divine realm. Their destination this time was the saint realm of the central state, where the immortal spirit grass appeared, and it was in the western region of the 9th divine realm. It was rumored that the saint realm was a place left behind by the ancient sage experts, and it was a famous ancient relic in the central state. It seems that the news has spread completely. After arriving at the 9th divine realm, Shi Tiangang and the others looked at the crowded ancient city with a solemn expression. There were countless teleportation halls in the ancient city, and at this time, there was an endless stream of experts appearing in the direction of each teleportation hall. Because of the forbidden sky barrier in the ancient city, there was an endless stream of people leaving the ancient city's 12 city gates. Palace Master. After Shi Tiangang and the others arrived, the Emperor Realm Elder of the Heavenly Imperial Palace, who had been in the central state for a long time, immediately appeared. What's the situation in the Saint Realm now? Shi Tiangang went straight to the point and asked. According to the information we have gathered, there are experts from the 9 states of the heaven domain, even the descendants of the gods of the divine land have come. Therefore, the situation in the Saint Realm is extremely complicated. The Emperor Realm Master quickly said. What about the ancient emperors and divine emperors? How many people have come? This was what Shi Tiangang was most concerned about, because the divine emperors were their biggest obstacle. About this there is a piece of good news. The Emperor Realm Master said. The expressions of Shi Tiangang and the others shook. Could it be that something had happened? Just 7 days ago, Northern Emperor Luan and Divine Lord Qian Crane fought in the Saint Realm, and it even turned into a war between the two sects. From the Emperor Realm Elder, Shi Tiangang, Qin Yu, and the others learned about the war that took place in the Saint Realm a few days ago. The ancient emperor who discovered the immortal spirit grass in the dual void secret realm was Northern Emperor Luan of the Northern sect. Therefore, the Northern sect wanted to monopolize the entrance to the void secret realm and prevent other forces from entering. They even took advantage of Northern Emperor Luan's presence to injure many people from other forces. Unfortunately, among the cultivators injured by the Northern sect, there were people from the Thousand Crane sect of the Ninth Divine Realm. Even more unfortunately, the ancient emperor of the Thousand Crane sect, Divine Lord Qian Crane, also appeared. The two great ancient emperors clashed directly, and the cultivators of the Northern sect and the Thousand Crane sect also fought fiercely. The aftermath of the war caused countless casualties in the Saint Realm. In the end, the war was suppressed only when 5 ancient emperors of the Ninth Divine Realm appeared. Therefore, after a discussion among the ancient emperors, the dual void secret realm was opened. However, regardless of whether they were ancient emperors or divine emperors, they could not enter the double void secret lands. Whoever could get the immortal spirit grass would have to depend on their own ability and luck. The heavens are really helping us. Shi Tiangang and the others were excited. No ancient emperors or divine emperors intervened. This way, with the ancient secret techniques they mastered, their chances of getting the immortal spirit grass were much higher. Chapter 539. Northern Emperor Luan. No one from the heavenly imperial palace noticed that Qin Yu's eyes narrowed slightly when he heard Northern Emperor Luan. A bone-chilling light flickered in the depths of his eyes. Northern Emperor Luan was one of the 12 ancient emperors who had besieged him. Qin Yu did not expect to receive news of Northern Emperor Luan as soon as he arrived in the central state. I'm afraid that other than Northern Emperor Luan, other ancient emperors have gone as well. The dragon soul in the divine dragon ancient seal said solemnly. Regardless of whether it was Qin Yu or the dragon soul, they both knew how powerful an ancient emperor was. Therefore, Qin Yu could not reveal his identity in this operation. Otherwise, even if Qin Yu had prepared a life-saving measure, he would not be able to escape this calamity. Just you wait. Hearing the dragon soul's words, Qin Yu's expression returned to normal, and a smile even appeared on his face. When he first came to the spiritual state, Qin Yu was only a martial ancestor. He was not even qualified to see the 12 ancient emperors. Now, Qin Yu had finally reached the Emperor Realm and was beginning to come into contact with the Divine Emperor Realm. In the future, it would not take long for him to completely recover his cultivation and step into the ancient Emperor Realm. As for now, Qin Yu still had to endure and continue to cultivate. Can we enter the dual void secret realm now? Shi Tiangang asked immediately. I heard that the entrance that Northern Emperor Luan opened in the dual void secret realm is still very chaotic. Many people were directly teleported into the endless void after entering. Now, several ancient emperors are still stabilizing the space at the entrance. If we want to enter, we will have to wait for a few more days. The ancient emperor said. We will go to the sacred realm now. You have to be prepared to receive us. Shi Tiangang thought for a while and instructed. Even if he brought Qin Yu here to refine the immortal spirit grass directly, they might still be targeted. Therefore, they could not rely on the central state's teleportation array. They had to build their own. After refining the immortal emperor pills and leaving the secret realm, they had to be able to leave immediately. Otherwise, the consequences would be unimaginable if they were delayed. Don't worry, everything is ready, the Emperor Realm Elder said. Let's go. Shi Tiangang nodded slightly and immediately led the people of the Sky Imperial Palace to the sacred region. 3 days later, Shi Tiangang and the others finally arrived at the 9th divine region. They arrived at the sacred domain, the ancient ruins left behind by the ancient sages. Before they could even approach the sacred region, a frightening and vast pressure pressed down from the distant horizon. The pressure was so terrifying that it was as if an ancient sage was suppressing the heavens and the earth. At this time, in the vast and desolate sanctuary, countless powerhouses of the 9 states had gathered. At this time, those who dared to come to the sacred domain were all Emperor Realm Masters. In fact, most of them were high-level and peak Emperor Realm Masters. Pill Heart Sacred Sect, Matchless Heavenly Sect, Spirit Snake Holy Ground, Thousand Crane Divine Sect. Qin Yu's gaze swept across the large forces that had gathered. There were many great powers here, and Qin Yu had dealt with all of them in his previous life. Some of them were friends, while some of them were enemies. Qinbei Sect. Suddenly, Qin Yu's eyes narrowed. Qinbei Sect of Emperor Luan was indeed there, but he did not see Emperor Luan. After looking at it for a while, Qin Yu calmly moved his gaze away and continued to size it up. Other than Emperor Luanbei, the forces of Emperor God Xian Yu, Emperor God Tian, and Ghost Emperor Jin Tian were also present. After scanning all the forces present, Qin Yu looked at the entrance of the Dual Void Secret Realm and narrowed his eyes. From the chaotic and destructive space entrance, Qin Yu vaguely sensed several familiar auras. They were the auras of Emperor Luan, Emperor God Xian Yu, and Emperor Taiyan. As for Ghost Emperor Jin Tian, Qin Yu did not notice him, so he should not be here. After observing for a while, Qin Yu withdrew his gaze and waited quietly. It seemed that even if the ancient emperors joined forces, it would still take a long time to completely stabilize the entrance of the Dual Void Secret Realm. They don't seem to have found the real entrance. In the Divine Dragon Ancient Seal, the dragon's soul slightly emitted the power of space and time. After a while, the dragon's soul spoke. I heard that this entrance was forcefully opened by Emperor Luan. Qin Yu said and suddenly paused. Dragon Soul, can you sense the real entrance? If they could enter in advance, it would be greatly beneficial for them to catch the immortal spirit grasp. We have found the real entrance, but it is not far from them. Once we try to break the seal, they will immediately notice us. The Dragon Soul said. It seems that we can only wait. At a time like this, Qin Yu would naturally not do such a thing to show off. Even if he had reached the Emperor Realm, there was still a huge gap between him and a Divine Emperor. Not to mention an ancient emperor who had reached the peak of the Divine Emperor Realm. Time passed slowly and more experts gathered in the sacred region. Just a rough estimate showed that there were hundreds of thousands of them. This didn't even include the experts who were hiding in the dark and didn't show themselves. The strength of the 9 provinces of the Heaven Domain was undoubtedly displayed at this moment. Shi Tiangang and the others from the Heavenly Imperial Palace looked at the increasing number of Emperor Realm Masters and could not help but look more and more solemn. Even if they had secret techniques, it was definitely not easy to snatch the immortal spirit grass from the hands of so many Emperor Realm Masters. If they were not careful, they might all die here. With the presence of several ancient emperors, although there were many experts gathered in the holy region, there were no conflicts between them. All the experts who had gathered were waiting quietly. Shio. Just like this, after 5 days, 6 figures with oppressive auras flashed out of the entrance of the sealed world. All the experts in the Saint Domain were visibly moved, and their gazes all shifted to that direction. Emperor Luan, Emperor God Xian Yu, Emperor Tai Yan. Qin Yu, who was meditating cross-legged, also opened his eyes and looked over. When he saw Emperor Luan and the other 2, his pupils could not help but shrink and the killing intent in his heart soared. Fortunately, Qin Yu immediately came to his senses and the killing intent in his heart disappeared. Although there were many Emperor Realm Masters gathered in the sacred region ruins. But with the ancient Emperor's means, if the killing intent was clearly directed at them, they could instantly find the source of the killing intent. Everyone, don't you all feel that there are too many people here? Emperor Luan looked at the hundreds of thousands of Emperor Realm Masters who were ready to make a move, and his face turned ugly. He was the first person to discover that the immortal spirit grass was located in the dual void sealed world. He was also the one who had sealed the unstable secret realm. Even the entrance to the sealed world was opened by him. Now, other cultivators were enjoying the fruits of his labor. Emperor Luan was a little unhappy. If it were an ordinary item, he would not care about it with his status as the ancient emperor. But the immortal spirit grass was a true immortal herb. It was a huge temptation for them who had always wanted to break through to the emperor realm and cross the 9th layer of the martial path. If the matter had not been blown out of proportion, Emperor Luan would not have let anyone in. Chapter 540. Northern Emperor Luan, you've already given your word. Are you going back on your word now? A cold snort sounded. It was Sir God Qian He, who had fought with Northern Emperor Luan a few days ago. I just think that since we're the ones who have stabilized the entrance, why don't we let the cultivators from our sect enter and fight for it? Northern Emperor Luan suggested, ignoring Sir God Qian He's unfriendly tone. That's not right. If we don't allow the martial artists from other forces to enter, then we'll have to deal with them. It won't be long before the other ancient emperors of the Central Plains arrive. By then, the situation will be out of our control. Emperor God Xian Yu and the others looked at each other. They seemed to be tempted, but Emperor Taiyan shook his head slowly. Compared to the Emperor Realm Masters present, they were more oppressive. However, many of those forces had ancient emperors behind them. Once they angered the crowd, it would be difficult for them to clean up the mess. Emperor Taiyan is right. Since we've already given our word, we can't go back on our word. Saint Master Pilheart also spoke up. Are you afraid that the cultivators in your sect won't be as good as the other forces? Sir God Qian he sneered. I can't say for the other forces, but at the very least, the cultivators in my sect won't be afraid of your 1,000-crane divine sect. Instead of making sarcastic remarks, you're more worried that the cultivators in your sect won't be able to come out alive. Northern Emperor Luan snorted when she saw that the other ancient emperors didn't agree. Same here. Killing intent surged in Sir God Qian He's eyes. All right, get ready to open the entrance to the sealed world. Saint Master Pilheart, Emperor God Xian Yu, and the others changed the topic when they saw that Sir God Qian He and Northern Emperor Luan were about to fight. Xiao. After the ancient emperors gave their orders, the Emperor Realm Masters gathered in the ancient ruins' sacred domain became excited. The cultivators from the major forces entered the dual void sealed world in an orderly manner. The leading force was naturally the cultivators under Northern Emperor Luan and the other ancient emperors. Halfway through, a divine emperor suppressed his cultivation and disguised himself as an ordinary top-tier Emperor Realm Master to enter. In the end, he was trapped in the spirit seals of several ancient emperors and almost lost his life. This scene made many divine sovereigns who were ready to make a move immediately calm down. It was basically impossible to cross the sea under the watchful eyes of several ancient emperors. Let's get ready to move. After more than half an hour, seeing that nearly half of the Emperor Realm Masters in the sacred domain had entered, Shi Tiangang led the Heavenly Imperial Palaces group to stand up. Whoosh! The power of the Tao surged. Shi Tiangang waved his sleeve, and everyone from the Heavenly Imperial Palace turned into a beam of light and entered the entrance of the secret realm. Although the entrance to the sealed world wasn't very big, dozens of Emperor Realm Masters would enter at any given moment. This is the dual void secret realm? On the White Mountain peak, Qin Yu sized up his surroundings. Shi Tiangang, Sun Jiuxiao, and the others were on high alert. Everyone in the heavenly imperial palace was no stranger to secret realms, but double secret realms were extremely rare. Other than Qin Yu and Shi Tiangang, no one else in the heavenly imperial palace had truly entered the dual void secret realm. The so-called dual void secret realm referred to two overlapping secret realms. In one space there were two completely independent secret realms. This situation also caused the space in the dual void secret realm to be extremely weak and chaotic. Therefore, if one stepped into some weak areas in the secret realm, it was very likely that one would be teleported to another secret realm in an instant. If one was unlucky and entered a chaotic area, it would be bad luck. Instead of being teleported to another secret realm, one would be teleported directly into the turbulent flow of space. The most fatal thing was that the weak and chaotic space was extremely difficult to detect. Even an Emperor Realm Master would have to be extremely cautious. This way, after entering, Shi Tiangang took out an ancient compass. It was Sun Guxing's divination compass. Sun Guxing should have been the one leading this operation. Unfortunately, Sun Guxing was still unconscious, so Shi Tiangang had to do it personally. As Shi Tiangang poured his true qi into the ancient compass, he quickly determined the direction. Leading Shi Tiangang and the others, he rushed in a certain direction. In this dual void secret realm, none of them dared to fly and could only travel on foot. They did not want to encounter any weak void and be unable to react in time. While they were traveling, Qin Yu let the dragon's soul secretly use its space-time ability to sense the surrounding void. Roar! After crossing hundreds of miles and collecting many ancient spirit herbs, everyone in the heavenly imperial palace suddenly heard a violent beast roar. It's at least a peak Emperor Realm fierce beast, Sun Jiuxiao said after carefully sensing. It's here. As soon as Sun Jiuxiao's voice fell, Shi Tiangang suddenly shouted. From the ancient forest on their left, a ferocious giant wolf with 3 heads and barbs all over its body pounced out with an incomparably terrifying bloody and ferocious aura. Ancient exotic beast, 3-headed demon wolf. Shi Tiangang and the others immediately attacked, using their divine abilities and secret technique. A violent battle broke out, causing the void to tremble violently. Qin Yu did not participate in the battle. Although the 3-headed demon wolf was an ancient exotic beast, its potential had not been fully tapped and had not reached the divine Emperor realm. It was just a peak Emperor realm cultivation, so it was impossible for it to be a match for Shi Tiangang and the others. The battle broke out in an instant, but it soon came to an end. Under the siege of Shi Tiangang and the others, the 3-headed demon wolf finally fled in a sorry state. Shi Tiangang and the others did not chase after it and continued in the direction where they sensed the immortal spirit herbs. Along the way, the heavenly imperial palace and the others encountered more and more fierce beasts and strange beasts. They even encountered a divine Emperor Realm exotic beast, so they had no choice but to take a long detour. The combat strength of a divine Emperor Realm ancient exotic beast was not any weaker than a human divine emperor. When Qin Yu followed the heavenly imperial palace to search for the immortal spirit herbs, in a primitive mountain range in the dual void secret realm, 2 figures were fighting against 2 peak Emperor Realm exotic beasts. The violent and destructive aftermath of the battle had destroyed more than half of the primitive mountain range. Of the 2, one was a silver-haired good-for-nothing in armor, holding an ancient halberd. The other was dressed in black, holding an ancient sword. His sword aura soared to the sky, as if it was going to cut through the sky. Both of their cultivations were astonishing, and their auras were extremely terrifying. However, if Qin Yu were here, he would definitely be shocked. These 2 were his 2 disciples from his previous life, Pam Hong and Tai Shu Kong. However, compared to the high-level Emperor Realm cultivation in the spiritual state's void space, both Pam Hong and Tai Shu Kong had reached the peak Emperor Realm. In just a few years their cultivation had made such great progress. It could be seen that both of them had obtained some kind of opportunity. The battle lasted for a quarter of an hour before it ended. The two Peak Emperor Realm exotic beasts were killed by Pam Hong and Taishu Kong using secret technique. Eldest senior brother, are you sure the immortal spirit herbs are in this secret realm? Taishu Kong asked Pam Hong after putting away the corpses of the two beasts. This dual void secret realm had two secret realms. If they were not sure, Taishu Kong felt that it was better to enter a secret realm separately. Chapter 541. Although I don't know the exact location, Second Martial Ant's spiritual treasure should not be wrong. Pam Hong had a yin-yang jade pendant in his hand. At this moment, the yin-yang jade pendant was emitting a faint light. Junior brother's situation is getting worse. I hope the immortal spirit grass can relieve the ghost curse in his body. There was a hint of anxiety in Taishu Kong's eyes. If the immortal spirit grass was not used, then, let's get the immortal spirit grass first. If the immortal spirit grass can't help, then we will hide in the kneeling ground sacred ground. Now that master is not here, nothing must happen to junior brother. Pam Hong said solemnly. Long Hao had been in a coma because he went to find the ghost Emperor Jin Tian. His condition was getting worse and worse. Therefore, the people of the Ghost Emperor's sacred island must have a way to relieve the ghost curse. It was just that the risk was too great. Although the news was confirmed that the Ghost Emperor Jin Tian had been in seclusion to heal his injuries, that did not mean that it was easy to sneak into the Ghost Emperor's sacred island. What's more, it was even more difficult to find a way to relieve the ghost curse condensed by the Ghost Emperor. Unfortunately, if Second Martial Ant could help, it would be much easier. Taishu Kong was a little helpless. Second Martial Ant will still fall into a deep sleep from time to time. It's better not to tell her about these things. Pam Hong shook his head and put away the yin-yang jade pendant in his hand. Then, the two of them flew away at top speed. 2 days later, in an ancient forest full of towering ancient trees, Qin Yu and the others of the Sky Emperor Palace were resting. Looking at the chaotic aura on their bodies, it seemed that they had just gone through a great battle. After following us for so long, it seems that they are ready to take action. Suddenly, the Dragon Soul's eyes flashed. Hearing this, Qin Yu quietly informed Shi Tiangang and the others. As early as a day ago, he found that someone was secretly following them. It's just that because there were people following them in the dark, there was no movement at all. Thus, Qin Yu and them did not alert the enemy. Boom! Suddenly, it was like a clap of thunder in the clear sky. In the void, dozens of blue thunderbolts 100 feet in size fell without warning. The momentum was so terrifying that it seemed to directly blast the people of the Sky Emperor Palace into pieces. Immortal Stone Emperor's Seal. Shi Tiangang reacted instantly, and a huge Immortal Stone Emperor's Seal appeared. The blue lightning bolts that came crashing down were all blocked. Blue lightning, Qin Yu narrowed his eyes. In the heaven domain, there were countless lightning Dao secret art. However, blue thunderbolts were extremely rare. Moreover, blue thunderbolts were the original spells of a large clan in the Qin Yun domain. You sneaky bastard, come out! Sun Jiuxiao roared angrily. Divine light flickered between his hands, and then he suddenly slammed the ground. Immediately, there seemed to be some kind of creature crawling underground, and the ground quickly protruded and agitated. Bang! Bang! In the next moment, a series of violent collisions rang out from deep within the forest. Immediately after, the violent power of the Dao swept out, and large areas of the ancient forest were destroyed. Everything within a radius of several hundred miles was instantly razed to the ground. People surrounded by blue lightning appeared in the line of sight of the Sky Emperor Palace and the others. That is, when Shi Tiangang saw those people, his pupils involuntarily contracted. As expected, Qin Yu's eyes flashed. Strange, why would the Thunder Dragon clan target someone from Sky Palace? The dragon soul also recognized them, and it muttered to itself in confusion. The Thunder Dragon clan was one of the most powerful foreign clans in the Barren State. It was a foreign clan that ruled the Barren State. Its status was even higher than some of the immortal sacred grounds in the Middle State, and its foundation was also unfathomable. It was rumored that the Thunder Dragon clan was a mutation of the descendants of the true dragon. Many of their ancestors were existences that were comparable to connate life forms. They had slaughtered immortals in the primordial age, and had also killed gods in ancient times. Among the clans in the Heaven Domain, they were definitely one of the most powerful clans. However, the Thunder Dragon clan had never offended the forces of the other states in the Heaven Domain, and had always stayed in the Barren State. Of course, even the top forces of the Middle State would not provoke the Thunder Dragon clan for no reason. Qin Yu and the Dragon Soul were a little puzzled that the Thunder Dragon clan would attack Sky Emperor Palace. They did not know how these two major forces in two different states had offended each other. The royal family of the Barren State, the Thunder Dragon clan? What's going on? Why would the Thunder Dragon clan attack us? Sun Jiuxiao and the others also recognized the Thunder Dragon clan, and they were also very puzzled. If they were besieged after obtaining the immortal spiritual herb, it would make sense. But now they were attacked for no reason, and they could not figure it out. Shi Tiangong's solemn eyes flashed with a sharp light. Judging from the fact that the Thunder Dragon clan had followed them all the way and attacked them, the Thunder Dragon clan must have recognized the wrong people. In other words, the Thunder Dragon clan was coming for them. Although he did not know the reason, since the other party wanted to kill them, Shi Tiangang naturally would not sit still. 9 Thunder Dragon. The Thunder Dragon clan did not waste any time, and they all turned into blue thunderbolts and rushed toward Sky Emperor Palace and the others. As they rushed out, the vast and majestic thunderbolts swept out like a shocking tsunami. They turned into a giant thunderbolt dragon that was thousands of feet long, and wanted to devour the people of Sky Emperor Palace. Immortal Stone Emperor Seal. Heaven's War Emperor Transformation. 3,000 Heavenly Mantra. 1,000 Buddha Hands. Shi Tiangang, Sun Jiuxiao, and the others all attacked with all their strength, and one secret skill after another was displayed. The giant thunderbolt dragon was immediately stopped in midair. Layers of Dao skill shock waves swept out continuously, and wherever they passed, the void shattered inch by inch and the sky trembled. Qin Yu's figure flashed, and he retreated behind Shi Tiangang and the others. This time, Sky Emperor Palace had sent 7 top sovereigns, and more than 30 high-level sovereigns. The Thunder Dragon clan only had 5 top sovereigns, and less than 20 high-level sovereigns. Judging from this battle strength, Sky Emperor Palace had the absolute advantage, and Qin Yu did not need to attack at all. Something's not right? But when Qin Yu retreated, his body suddenly stiffened, and the dragon's soul also let out a soft cry of surprise. They could clearly feel that there were several extremely terrifying auras among the Thunder Dragon clan that were firmly locked onto him. Could it be that they are coming for me? Qin Yu became more and more puzzled. Whether it was in his previous life or now, he had no grudges with the Thunder Dragon clan. However, just in case, Qin Yu took out a newly refined spirit array disc in his left palm. One by one, the formation flags silently fused into the ground. Qin Yu's current strength was enough to fight against top sovereigns. But if he wanted to defeat or even kill top sovereigns, he still had to rely on the power of Array Dao. When Sky Emperor Palace fought against the Thousand Mountain Cauldron, Qin Yu had relied on the chaos of the ancient divine power and the chaotic sky divine array to suppress and kill the Thousand Mountain Cauldron. Whoosh! Sure enough, the situation was as Qin Yu had anticipated. In the midst of the fierce battle, a top sovereigns of the Thunder Dragon clan used a secret skill to escape, and directly leaped over the people of Sky Emperor Palace to pounce on Qin Yu. As he pounced, An ancient sword appeared in his hand. With a slash of the sword, countless sharp lightning sword chi tore through the void and swept toward Qin Yu. Chapter 542. Are they really coming for me? Qin Yu waved his right hand, and the indestructible stone emperor seal appeared. However, the thunder sword chi was extremely powerful. Qin Yu's indestructible stone emperor seal was directly torn to pieces. Swish, swish, swish. Qin Yu took a few steps forward when he saw this. Illusory phantoms flickered within a radius of 10 feet. All of the lightning sword chi were dodged. Swish. The top Emperor Realm Master of the Thunder Python clan flashed with blue lightning as he rushed to Qin Yu in an instant. Before the person arrived, a torrent-like blue thunderbolt appeared and swept over in a mighty manner. Swallow! Qin Yu growled as a layer of purple lightning flickered on his body. In the next moment, the blue thunderbolts that were sweeping over with a frightening might completely disappeared. The purple lightning on Qin Yu's body vaguely turned into a purple lightning vortex and swallowed all the blue lightning. Is that the divine thunder of annihilation? The cold eyes of the top Emperor Realm Master of the Thunder Python clan flashed with horror. The divine thunder of annihilation was the legendary divine ability of the purple thunder divine cloud dragon. This divine thunder was even more powerful and terrifying than the Thunder Python clans. Qin Yu actually had the divine thunder of annihilation? However, he had already rushed to Qin Yu and did not think too much about it. The ancient sword in his hand was covered with thunder inscriptions. A bone-piercing blue sword light appeared, and a series of spatial cracks appeared in the void. Every sword ray contained an incomparably terrifying power of thunder, which was enough to easily kill a high-level Emperor Realm Master. Array seal. This time, Qin Yu did not dodge. He just stomped his right foot on the ground. Immediately, the ground exploded, and beams of ancient inscriptions shot out like dragons emerging from the sea. In an instant, they turned into an ancient divine array that covered most of the sky. The top Emperor Realm Master of the Thunder Python clan swung his sword and slashed out the blue sword light. It was directly shattered by the ancient inscriptions. Not only the top Emperor Realm Master, but the other Emperor Realm Masters of the Thunder Python clan were also covered by the ancient array. Qin Yu's eyes flashed with a cold light. The sky-splitting spear transformed, condensing a vast ancient divine power. Immediately after, he thrust his spear at the Thunder Dragon clan's top Emperor Master. He wanted to see why the Thunder WRM clan would target him. Rumble! With a thrust of the spear, the power of the five gods' heaven-subduing formation was immediately drawn to the Thunder Dragon clan's top emperor. Under the attack of the spear, the surrounding space started to distort. One could imagine how powerful that spear strike of Qin Yu's was. What majestic primordial divine power! They could feel the terrifying divine power fluctuations emanating from Qin Yu's attack. Everyone from the Thunder Dragon tribe was visibly moved. The Peak Sovereign who was being attacked by Qin Yu suddenly let out a roar like that of a wild beast. Immediately after, blue lightning beast patterns appeared on his skin. Immediately, his entire body was covered in blue lightning beast scales, and his hands turned into dragon claws surrounded by blue lightning. A blue lightning array condensed in front of the half-transformed Emperor Realm Master. Qin Yu's sky-splitting divine spear, which was originally aimed at the Emperor Realm Master's head. It was directly drawn into the blue lightning array by a mysterious force. Boom! At this moment, the Thunder Dragon clan's top Emperor Realm Master clapped his claws to the left. Qin Yu's spear light was directly moved aside by the blue lightning array. A deafening explosion resounded. A destructive shock wave that was enough to destroy mountains and seas exploded, sweeping across the land. However, it did not cause any injury to the Thunder Dragon clan's top Emperor Realm Master. Of course, Qin Yu had already dispersed the sky-splitting divine spear as soon as the attack was attracted. With a twist of his body, he transformed into a divine weapon again and controlled the divine array to charge forward. Swoosh! At this moment, Shi Tiangang also reacted and rushed over. Together with Qin Yu, they rushed toward the Thunder Dragon clan's top Emperor Realm Master. Thunder Heaven Divine Claw. The Thunder Dragon clan's top Emperor Realm Master was not afraid even in the face of their attacks. The power of thunder flickered on his blue lightning beast scales. Immediately, he crossed his claws and tore at the void. Two huge thunder dragon claws condensed and bombarded Qin Yu and Shi Tiangang with mighty divine power. This is, at the moment of collision, Qin Yu's ancient divine power condensed and vaguely felt that it was out of control. Fortunately, the moment that feeling appeared, Qin Yu immediately suppressed it and instead blasted out an even more majestic ancient divine power. Pucci, the Thunder Dragon clan's top Emperor Realm Master, was immediately sent flying by the spear, a huge bloody hole appearing on his body. Shi Tiangong's reaction was also very fast. He formed a seal with both hands and used the Three Emperors' Divine Power secret technique to blast the Thunder Dragon clan's top Emperor Realm Master far away. Is the Thunder Dragon clan also related to the extraterritorial demon clan? The dragon's soul also sensed it in an instant, and a hint of surprise appeared in its eyes. The fluctuation emitted by the Thunder Dragon clan's top Emperor Realm Master was very similar to that of the Myriad Mountain Cauldron. If the Dragon Soul's guess was true, the reason why the Thunder Dragon clan targeted Sky Emperor Palace, and even targeted Qin Yu, was obvious. Have they already sensed it? A cold light flashed in Qin Yu's eyes. After the internal strife last time, Qin Yu suspected that the Myriad Mountain Cauldron was just a clone. The extraterritorial demon clan might associate him with the person who took away the God Slayer sword and the ancient heavenly rock spirit. Now it seemed that his guess was most likely true. Although Qin Yu's current appearance was not Xin Feng's appearance, everyone in Sky Emperor Palace knew that he was Xin Feng in disguise. As long as the extraterritorial demon clan captured anyone in Sky Emperor Palace, they would know everything. At that time, his special disguise to deal with the Myriad Mountain Cauldron would be in vain. Xin Feng, the fluctuation on his body just now, was it ancient divine power? The graveness in Shi Tiangong's sharp gaze became increasingly serious. Although the ancient divine power in his body had been completely stripped away, he still sensed the fluctuation of divine power emitted by the top emperor of the Thunder Dragon clan just now. It must be known that the Myriad Mountain Cauldron had almost wiped out all the higher-ups of Sky Emperor Palace. Shi Tiangang naturally had a fresh memory of that divine power fluctuation. It should be. I'm afraid that the Thunder Dragon clan has a close relationship with the extraterritorial demon clan. They must have attacked us to confirm that I am the one who suppressed the Myriad Mountain Cauldron. Qin Yu transmitted his voice. Shi Tiangong's eyes twitched. When Qin Yu told him that the birth of the ancient divine power was planned by the extraterritorial demon clan, they did not say anything. They just kept thinking of ways to purify the ancient divine power. The reason was that they did not want the extraterritorial demon clan to target Sky Emperor Palace. But now it seemed that they could not avoid it. The others in Sky Emperor Palace no longer have the ancient divine power, but he can control it. The top emperor of the Thunder Dragon clan, who had been severely injured and sent flying by Qin Yu and Shi Tiangang, stabilized his body and stared at Shi Tiangang and Qin Yu with a strange light in his eyes. The flesh and blood inside the bloody hole that Qin Yu had pierced into his body was rolling about. His injuries were healed in an instant. This was not a secret technique, but a talent of the Thunder Dragon clan. Chapter 543. If Sky Emperor Palace and the others no longer have the ancient divine power in their bodies, it means, not only can he control the ancient divine power, but he can also strip the divine power from the warriors. The top emperor of the Thunder Dragon clan stared at the cold Qin Yu with a strange look in his eyes. The importance of this news was far beyond their expectations. This sort of thing, how exactly did Qin Yu accomplish it? We can't let them leave alive. Shi Tiangang immediately made a decision after hearing Qin Yu's voice transmission. It was impossible to send out secret messages in this dual void secret realm. In other words, as long as these people of the Thunder Dragon clan were all left here, there was still a chance for them to salvage the situation. Otherwise, even if Qin Yu left Sky Emperor Palace and drew a clear line with them, the extraterritorial demon race would still find them. After the previous battle, the spiritual state had now regarded Qin Yu as a core figure of Sky Emperor Palace. Now, Sky Emperor Palace couldn't cut ties with Qin Yu just because he left. Shi Tiangang knew that even if he killed all the people of the Thunder Dragon clan here, he might not be able to hide this news from the extraterritorial demon race. But at the very least, they could delay for a while. If they could delay until the immortal Emperor Pill was successfully refined, the bloodline of the three emperors in their bodies would be reignited. At that time, even if they were targeted by the extraterritorial demon race, it wouldn't be a big deal. Kill! Shi Tiangang shouted and took the lead to rush out. The power of the Tao of Destruction shook with astonishing power. The people of Sky Emperor Palace didn't know why Shi Tiangang's killing intent suddenly skyrocketed. But after seeing Shi Tiangang go all out, they also went all out. Azure Dragon fights the heavens! Qin Yu held the sky-splitting divine spear tightly in his hand. Azure Dragon patterns spread out in his flesh and bones. An extremely terrifying aura spread out from Qin Yu's body. Just as Shi Tiangang said, they couldn't let the people of the Thunder Dragon clan leave alive. The extraterritorial demon race had been preparing for the ancient divine power plan for a long time. The myriad martial sect and the Thunder Dragon clan were definitely not the only ones who had infiltrated the heaven realm. Once the extraterritorial devil race knew of his identity, they would definitely come to kill him. The extraterritorial demon clan would never allow him to purify the god power of the warriors of the heaven domain and ruin their plan. He actually hid his strength. The expression of the peak emperor of the Thunder Dragon clan, who had just recovered from his injuries and was fighting against Shi Tiangang, suddenly changed. The aura that Qin Yu was emitting right now made his heart palpitate. He had a feeling of extreme danger. Looks like we can only retreat for now. Immediately, the top Emperor Realm Master of the Thunder Mantis clan transmitted his voice and prepared to withdraw. With Qin Yu's current strength, it was already impossible for them to capture him alive, or even defeat him. Since that was the case, there was no need to keep it. In any case, their investigation mission had been completed, and the matter of dealing with the Imperial Palace of Heaven would be handled by others. Trying to run? When Qin Yu saw through the Lightning Mantis clan's intention, the coldness in his eyes became even sharper. Within the five gods' heaven-subduing formation, 5 types of mantras and abhijnas surged, emitting an incomparably terrifying aura. The next moment, streaks of ancient curse runes with unparalleled power fell from the sky and swept toward the Thunder Mantis clan. These ancient curse runes did not have any offensive power, but they contained a supreme sealing divine ability. Even the void was faintly showing signs of being sealed. The Thunder Mantis clan, who had been preparing to retreat, did not dare to be careless. Swoosh! Qin Yu's figure broke through the air as fast as lightning, instantly appearing in front of the top emperor of the Thunder Dragon clan who was fighting against Shi Tiangang. Qin Yu, who had displayed the Azure Dragon battling the heavens, had completely transformed his combat strength. The top emperor of the Thunder Mantis clan was suppressed to the point that he could not fight back. However, during the battle, Qin Yu also discovered that he could not use the divine power imprint to disrupt the divine power of the top emperor of the Thunder Mantis clan. This made Qin Yu feel a little strange and also a little vigilant. It seemed that the divine power imprint was not absolute in dealing with ancient divine power. Ancient spacetime killing formation. 9 serenities purgatory. heavenly stellar divine light, apocalyptic divine thunder, 5 elements chaos. Qin Yu continuously displayed the power of Tao techniques and the divine power of the Dragon Clan. The top emperor of the Thunder Dragon Clan, who had been suppressed to the point of being unable to fight back, was repeatedly injured. Even the self-healing divine power of their clan could not keep up with the speed of Qin Yu's attack. Sure enough, the secret techniques of the Dragon Clan he mastered were not inherited from the Tao space of our ancestors. Seeing Qin Yu display the divine power of the Dragon Clan, Shi Tiangang also understood. The secret techniques of the Dragon Clan Qin Yu mastered must have been mastered in his previous life. However, this made Shi Tiangang feel that it was a good clue to find out Qin Yu's identity. The secret techniques of the Dragon Clan were not very common, even in the Qin Yun realm. Qin Yu had mastered so many secret techniques of the Dragon Clan. As long as he had a little reputation in his previous life, they should be able to find some clues. Damn it! How can his strength be so terrifying? The top emperor of the Thunder Dragon Clan had completely transformed into a thunder dragon that was dozens of feet long. But even so, under the joint attack of Qin Yu and Shi Tiangang, he was still defeated. What shocked the top emperor of the Thunder Dragon Clan was Qin Yu's terrifying combat strength. A mere second-grade Emperor Realm Master, even with the amplification of the ancient divine force, would not be able to reach this level. The secret technique that Qin Yu used later was truly terrifying. Die. Forbidden technique. Sacrifice to the immortals. Qin Yu, who had caught the Thunder Dragon's weakness, had a sharp look in his eyes. He thrust out his spear, causing the void to tremble. Pooh! The scales of the Thunder Dragon shattered as the spear pierced directly into its body. Blood splattered. At this moment, a white light appeared from the tip of the Sky Splitter spear. The Thunder Dragon, whose body was bursting with lightning, suddenly froze. The vitality in its ferocious eyes quickly dissipated. Killed. Shi Tiangang, who was using his secret technique, suddenly narrowed his eyes. He clearly sensed that the Thunder Dragon's Emperor soul had been completely annihilated. Its soul had been completely destroyed. How could a top Emperor Realm Master be killed so easily? Shi Tiangang could not help but feel a chill in his heart. Perhaps only a divine emperor would be able to do it so cleanly and cleanly. Qin Yu had easily killed it with just the enhancement of his secret technique. As expected of someone who could reincarnate, the means he had were simply shocking. After putting away the corpse of the Thunder Dragon, Qin Yu did not hesitate and immediately charged toward the other Thunder Dragon clan members. Shi Tiangang also reacted immediately and hurriedly followed. The battle became more and more violent. The Thunder Dragon clan, which was already at a disadvantage in terms of combat strength, became more and more dangerous after Qin Yu and Shi Tiangang joined the battle. One by one, the Thunder Dragon clansmen died at the hands of Qin Yu and the others. The fierce battle quickly came to an end. Chapter 544. If you want to kill us, then let's die together. When the Thunder Python clan only had one top-level Emperor Master and several high-level Emperor Masters, the Thunder Python clan became even more furious. The eyes of the top-level Emperor Master, who was besieged by Qin Yu and the others, flashed with madness. Oh no! Qin Yu, Shi Tiangang, and the others instantly sensed it. Unfortunately, it was too late. As earth-shattering explosions resounded, the violent destructive power of the Tao swept across the sky. The 5 gods' heaven-subduing array trembled violently before it exploded. The area within a radius of a few thousand kilometers was affected by the power of the Tao and was completely destroyed. The Emperor Masters of the Thunder Python clan knew that they could not survive, so they self-destructed. When the destructive power of the Tao technique gradually dissipated, the people of the Sky Emperor Palace had already disappeared. Only the countless deep and terrifying void cracks remained in the void, emitting chaotic void fluctuations. Many Emperor Realm cultivators sensed the terrifying fluctuations and quickly gathered over. But soon, they did not sense the fluctuations of the immortal spirit grass and left together. There were hundreds of thousands of Emperor Realm masters who came in this time. Those who had ancient emperors or great forces with glorious ancestors all had secret techniques to sense the immortal spirit grass. At this moment, the void rippled slightly above a barren mountain, and a figure stumbled out. It was Qin Yu, who had disappeared. Cough, cough. After coming out, Qin Yu, who was a little pale, could not help but spit out 2 mouthfuls of blood. His injuries are very serious. The space-time force around Qin Yu dissipated, and the dragon soul appeared to sense Qin Yu's injuries. The top-level Emperor Master of the Thunder Python clan was not the only one who self-destructed. The other high-level emperors also self-destructed. Otherwise, the 5 gods' heaven-subduing array, which had been strengthened by Qin Yu, would have been able to withstand the self-destruction of a top-level Emperor Master. It seems that there are either members of the Thunder Python clan or other forces related to the extraterritorial demon race in this dual void-sealed world. Qin Yu opened his right hand and a Thunder Beast scale appeared. This Thunder Beast pattern was what the Thunder Python clan wanted to send out when they self-destructed. The reason why Qin Yu was seriously injured was because he wanted to imprison this beast scale. After pondering for a moment, Qin Yu's primordial god force surged out from his palm, crushing the beast scale. Soon after, Qin Yu landed on the barren mountain. He formed a seal with his hands and sat down cross-legged. The dragon qi in his body boiled. About a quarter of an hour later, the serious injuries in Qin Yu's body had completely recovered. After recovering from his injuries, Qin Yu took out the corpses of the Lightning Bolt clan members, and the skeleton Ghost King appeared. Chi. Upon seeing the lightning dragons, the skeleton Ghost King's eyes lit up with a strange light. Immediately, the skeleton Ghost King's bones were covered in countless desolate beast runes. The chi and blood of the thunder hornless dragons gathered toward the skeleton Ghost King at an astonishing speed. The blood chi of 4 peak emperors and more than a dozen high-level emperors. This was a great opportunity for the skeleton Ghost King to replenish itself. What's more, the thunder hornless dragons contained powerful mutated beast bloodlines, and their blood chi far exceeded that of ordinary peak emperors. While the skeleton Ghost King was devouring the blood chi and blood, Qin Yu flew into the sky. Now that the Emperor Tian Huang and the others were gone, the dragon's soul no longer needed to hide its space-time ability. This secret realm space, Qin Yu's expression changed slightly after he sensed it. This is no longer the original secret realm space, the dragon's soul said. The dragon's soul spoke. He had already sensed it. Hearing this, Qin Yu immediately took out a jade pendant. The jade pendant was intact, which meant that Shi Tiangang was fine. As for the others from the Emperor Tian Huang, it was hard to say. In such a destructive explosion, there would probably be a lot of casualties. You also came to this secret realm? Infusing his true yuan into the jade pendant, Qin Yu sensed Shi Tiangang's aura. Although it was very far away, it was indeed this secret realm space. This meant that the others from the Emperor Tian Huang's palace should be similar. The skeleton Ghost King had been devouring the blood chi for more than 2 hours. This was enough to show how powerful the blood chi of those thunder hornless dragons were. Boom! After devouring the blood chi, the wild beast marks on the skeleton Ghost King vibrated, and the roar of 10,000 beasts could be vaguely heard. An aura that was more than 10 times stronger than before suddenly erupted. The skeleton Ghost King's cultivation had officially stepped into the 7th grade Emperor realm. This was a huge increase in combat strength for Qin Yu. With the bloodthirsty heavenly dragon, the skeleton Ghost King, and the array Dao, Qin Yu could kill high-level emperors even if he did not use the Azure Dragon Battle the Heavens and other secret technique. After all, the middle state was not like the spiritual state. Here, Qin Yu knew many people from his previous life. If he did not use the 9 esoteric techniques of the battle dragon, Qin Yu would not easily expose himself in front of others. Just like the Thunder Hornless clan. If they were not related to the extraterritorial demon race, Qin Yu would not use the 9 esoteric techniques of the battle dragon and so many dragon race divine abilities. Putting away the skeleton ghost king, Qin Yu flew towards the void where Shi Tiangang was. After flying for half a day, Qin Yu suddenly sensed a strong fluctuation of spirit qi surging from afar. The spirit qi fluctuation was so strong that half of the sky shook violently. Vaguely, Qin Yu also sensed an extremely pure and blazing fluctuation. Is a treasure appearing? After sensing it carefully, Qin Yu immediately rushed in that direction. This fluctuation seems to be a divine medicine maturing. The closer he was, the clearer Qin Yu and the dragon's soul could sense it. Qin Yu's eyes shone brightly as he looked into the distance. In the depths of a mountain range shrouded in clouds and mist in the distance, there was a colorful glow that filled the entire mountain range. Qin Yu moved even faster and rushed into the mountain range shrouded in clouds and mist. This time, Qin Yu saw it clearly. Amidst the multicolored light, there was an ancient vine that was completely golden in color and surrounded by translucent golden spirit energy. The ancient vine was at least 10,000 feet long, like a giant mountain that reached the heavens. It was mighty and mighty. At the tip of the ancient vine, a strange golden flower was slowly blooming. Around the strange golden flower, there were 8 flower buds that were waiting to bloom. As the strange golden flower bloomed, the blazing sun in the sky crazily absorbed the vast power of the sun. With the ancient vine as the center, the area within tens of thousands of miles was faintly transformed into a sea of fire. Countless powerful wild beasts and mutated beasts in the mountain range fled in panic. However, the strange thing was that the flowers and trees grew even more luxuriant. It was as if the scattered power of the sun had become their nourishment. It's actually the 9 suns divine flower. Qin Yu looked at the golden ancient vine that was in the middle of blooming its second bud. His eyes were filled with deep shock. The 9 suns divine flower was a divine medicine that only appeared in the primordial age. It was born from absorbing the power of the sun. It was rumored that only the primordial age's ancient immortals had cultivated the 9 suns divine flower. As the primordial age and the ancient immortal age passed, the 9 suns divine flower became a legend passed down in various ancient books. It was a divine medicine that appeared more frequently than immortal spirit herbs. Chapter 545. Qin Yu did not expect such a divine item to exist in this dual void secret realm. More importantly, the 9 suns divine flower was still maturing. Could it be that this dual void secret realm was created by an ancient immortal? This secret realm must have a great background. Qin Yu narrowed his eyes. The immortal spiritual herb and the 9 suns divine flower had appeared in this secret realm at the same time. This could not be a coincidence. Moreover, when the 9 suns divine flower bloomed, the surrounding situation was too strange. The law of survival in nature had always been the survival of the fittest. Therefore, where many divine herbs were born, not even a blade of grass grew around them. The 9 suns divine flower was even more domineering. Not only was it difficult for plants to survive, but even living creatures were extinct. This was because the energy of all living creatures would be completely absorbed by the 9 suns divine flower. However, the flowers and trees in this ancient forest did not show any signs of withering. Instead, they grew even more luxuriant. This meant that the energy contained in this secret realm was enough to support the blooming of the 9 suns divine flower. Look at the sky. At this moment, the dragon's soul seemed to have noticed something and suddenly spoke. Qin Yu raised his head to look. He saw that above the 9 heavens, 9 blazing suns had actually appeared. What's going on? Qin Yu originally thought that it was an illusion or a formation. However, after taking a closer look, his gaze froze. The 9 blazing suns were actually real. In other words, they were 9 real suns. What kind of heaven-defying method was needed to condense 9 real suns? 9 suns? Is this a heaven and earth vision? It seems like they are real suns. What's going on? In addition to Qin, many sovereigns in this mountain range had been attracted by the 9 suns' divine flowers ripening. Many shocked gazes gathered on the 9 suns. Such a shocking heaven and earth vision was completely beyond their understanding. They had no idea what was going on. 9 suns connected to the sky. At this moment, outside the mountain range, a clear gaze was looking at the 9 suns in the sky. It was a handsome young man. His flesh and blood were emitting precious light. Each ray of light contained a special heaven and earth vision. Beside the handsome young man, there was a beautiful young girl in a green dress. The girl's eyes flickered with the light of avarice, like a rainbow. However, what attracted the most attention was the 7-colored divine imprint between her brows. A terrifying soul power that could suppress heaven and earth was being emitted from the 7-colored divine seal. These 2 people were precisely the Jiang clan's samsara brother and sister that Qin Yu had saved on the heavenly dragon continent. Indestructible innate divine body, Jiang Yuanyi. Immortal grand mist holy soul, Jiang Qingyu. The 7-colored light in Jiang Qingyu's eyes became even more intense. The 9 blazing suns that stretched across the sky were clearly reflected in her eyes. In Jiang Qingyu's eyes, an extremely profound energy faintly appeared between the 9 blazing suns. It was a power that transcended the laws of heaven and earth. Even the abnormal sign of the 9 suns connecting the sky has appeared. It would appear that the rumor is most likely true. Although Jiang Yuanyi's voice was calm, there was a fiery look in his eyes. The 2 siblings had clearly entered the divine emperor realm, but no one knew what method they had used. They had entered the dual void secret realm under the watchful eyes of Northern Emperor Luan and several other ancient emperors. In the depths of the mountain range, in the void that was only a few hundred miles away from the 9 suns' divine flower, a figure stood on an ancient tree, ignoring the terrifying temperature of the innate sun power, and looked at the vine of the 9 suns' divine flower that was thousands of feet long. This person was dressed in a blood-red robe, and his eyes were also blood-red, as if they were made of blood. In those blood-red eyes, there seemed to be an endless sea of blood surging. It was extremely terrifying. This man was someone that Qin Yu knew. He was the primordial blood demon who had lived since ancient times and sealed himself in the blood demon continent. Ancient celestial pond. I hope I didn't find the wrong place this time. After looking at the 9 suns' divine flower, the blood demon also looked at the 9 blazing suns. His eyes, which seemed to contain a sea of blood, shone brightly. In the mountain range, Qin Yu used the wood escape technique of the 5 elements and hid in an ancient tree. He looked at the 9 suns' divine flower that had already bloomed 3 buds. As the number of 9 suns' divine flower bloomed increased, it absorbed more sun power. Now, the air in the mountain range was faintly distorted. Qin Yu, who was waiting for the 9 suns' divine flower to fully mature before making his move, suddenly changed his expression. Dozens of Emperor Realm Masters had coincidentally arrived at the area where Qin Yu was hiding. Northern Emperor Luan's people. A cold light flashed in the dragon soul's eyes. Those people were from Northern Emperor Luan's northern sect. A cold smile appeared on Qin Yu's face. He originally wanted to find the immortal spirit grass and then deal with them. He did not expect to meet them here. Enemies were bound to meet on a narrow road. As expected, it's a divine herb from the immemorial era, the 9 suns' divine flower. The leader of Northern Sect's people was a man with hazy eyes. His cultivation was at the peak of the Emperor realm. His aura was far more profound than that of an ordinary peak Emperor realm master. Obviously, he was not an ordinary peak Emperor realm master. This man with hazy eyes was called Li Fenshin, and his emperor name was Burning God Emperor. He was one of Northern Emperor Luan's disciples. Although he had not yet advanced to the Divine Emperor realm, he had defeated more than 20 peak Emperor realm masters and killed 5 of them. One had to know that when one reached the Emperor realm, especially if one was an emperor of the same realm, even if it wasn't difficult to kill them, it would still be quite difficult to kill them. From this, one could see how strong Li Fengtian's cultivation was. I didn't expect this sealed world to have the 9 Suns divine flower in addition to the immortal spirit grass. If the Holy Master obtains it, he may be able to surpass the limit of the ancient Emperor realm. A black-clothed man with peak Emperor realm cultivation had a fanatical look on his face. If he brought back these 2 great immortal herbs and divine herbs, great Emperor Luan Tian would probably give him an amazing reward. Let's not talk about the immortal spirit grass first. I'm afraid this 9 Suns divine flower will not be so easy to obtain. I just used a secret technique to sense it. At least 1,000 Emperor Realm Masters have been attracted here. Beside Li Fengtian, a white-haired old man said, "The Emperor Realm Masters who gathered in this sealed world were basically all people with great background. The name of Northern Sect alone was not enough to suppress them. After all, even Northern Emperor Luan herself had been kept outside the secret realm. Even if it's not easy, we still have to get it. The 9 Suns divine flower is an immemorial divine herb that only appeared in the immemorial era. Since we have encountered it, we must not let it go," Li Fengtian said with a murderous intent. "Then we have to find a way to seal the others, but there are so many Emperor Realm Masters." The white-haired old man pondered for a moment. "Don't worry. Before we came in, Master gave me a divine weapon. If there are still people who dare to break in, I will really admire them," Li Fengtian sneered. Chapter 546. Form the Array. When the 7th bud of the 9 Suns divine flower blossomed, Qingbei sect and the others, who had been preparing for a long time, immediately took action. Dozens of them formed a large formation that was 100 feet wide. Li Fengtian stood in the middle of the array. Li Fengtian waved his right hand and an ancient cauldron the size of a palm appeared. The ancient cauldron was surrounded by flames. There were countless flowers, trees, mountains, rivers, and strange beasts on the cauldron. It was like a great world. The Tao skills of the dozens of people turned into a line and surged into the ancient flaming cauldron in Li Fengtian's hand. Sizzle! Sizzle! The flowers, trees, and strange beasts on the ancient flaming cauldron glowed with a mysterious light. Within that treasure light, one could clearly see strands of mysterious divine runes appearing and spreading throughout the entire ancient cauldron. One could clearly see that after those mysterious divine runes appeared, the ancient flame cauldron rapidly grew in size. Unseal! Li Fengtian, who was holding the ancient cauldron, formed a seal with his hands. With a bang, the ancient flaming cauldron drilled into the ground and disappeared. "Disperse!" Li Fengtian shouted when he saw this. The dozens of Emperor Realm Masters around him immediately turned into rays of light and dispersed with the 1,000-foot-tall 9 Suns ancient vine as the center. It seemed like they were going to surround the 9 Suns ancient vine. After dispersing, Li Fengtian and the others quietly merged into the ground. They disappeared without a trace, and no one could sense them at all. The heaven-refining divine cauldron? After Qingbei sect and the others used their secret technique to burrow into the ground, Qin Yu quietly revealed himself from the ancient tree. Qin Yu recognized the ancient flaming cauldron that Li Fengtian took out just now. It was one of the divine weapons of Northern Emperor Luan, the heaven-refining divine cauldron. From the words heaven-refining, it was enough to know that the heaven-refining divine cauldron had the ability to refine the heavens and earth. It was rumored that the heaven-refining divine cauldron was related to the ancient fire god. Among the many divine weapons and artifacts in the heaven domain, its power was one of the best. Qin Yu did not expect that Northern Emperor Luan would give such a divine weapon to his sex cultivators in order to fight for the immortal spirit grass. Thinking of this, Qin Yu sneered. Qing Bei sect and the others must have used the heaven-refining divine cauldron to refine the entire Nine Suns divine flower with the help of the divine weapon. The heaven-refining cauldron was a divine weapon of extreme yang. In this environment where the power of the sun was extremely abundant, the power of the heaven-refining divine cauldron would increase by several times. Even if it couldn't compare to the ancient Emperor realm's Northern Emperor Luan Bei, its power was definitely not that of an ordinary peak emperor. However, this was an excellent opportunity for Qin Yu. Although he didn't have the cultivation of a top emperor master, his battle prowess was enough to rival a top emperor. Moreover, Qin Yu was in existence at the pinnacle of the ancient emperor in his previous life. The sky-burning divine cauldron controlled by Li Fengtian and the others could not pose much of a threat to him. As for Qin Yu, he could use the burning sky divine cauldron to do many things. Immediately, Qin Yu silently left through the sky, and he vanished within this ancient forest where the air was becoming more and more warped. Crackle. When the Nine Suns divine flower bloomed to its 8th bud, the void was already boiling like boiling water, and even the air was constantly exploding. This was because the power of the sun had reached the limit of this world. Under such circumstances, even many high-level Emperor Realm Masters could not withstand it and left the mountain range one after another. For them, this mountain range had now become a scorching sun. Those who remained in this mountain range were either peak Emperor Realm Masters or had amazing secret technique. Rumble. After half a quarter of an hour, the 9th bud of the Nine Suns divine flower finally bloomed completely. At this moment, at the center of the 9 scorching suns in the sky, a beam of golden sun divine light fell directly on the 9 suns divine flower. A shock wave of fire that was visible to the naked eye immediately swept out in all directions like an ocean wave. The terrifying momentum was as if the end of the world had arrived. In an instant, the entire mountain range was razed to the ground by the shock wave of the fire. The many Emperor Realm Masters who gathered in this mountain range misjudged the power of the fire shock wave and were all seriously injured. One must know that the beam of sunlight was condensed from the pure power of the sun. Even the power of an Emperor Realm Master's Tao art could not resist it. The 9 Suns divine flower is about to mature. The divine flower has a spirit. Be careful not to let it escape. Get out of my way. In the mountain range, the peak Emperor Realm Masters who had used their secret techniques to resist the fire shock wave moved together and rushed toward the 9 Suns divine flower. This was a divine herb that had only appeared in ancient times. It would be a waste if they did not fight for such a divine item. Many people even started to fight on the way. However, the strange thing was that neither the Jiang siblings nor the mysterious blood demon moved. Their eyes were fixed on the 9 scorching suns in the sky. Or rather, they were staring at the center of the 9 scorching suns, the place where the sun divine light fell. It seemed that there was a treasure more important than the 9 suns divine flower there. Attack! At this time, Li Fengtian and the others from Qing Bei sect also made their move. In the mountain range that had been leveled, a loud rumbling sound like an earthquake resounded. With the 9 Suns divine flower as the center, the area within a radius of several thousand feet shook violently. Fiery red divine runes emerged from the ground and covered the surrounding land. Boom, boom, boom. Then, dozens of 1,000-foot-tall blazing divine lights soared into the sky and surrounded the 9 Suns divine flower. Mysterious divine runes intertwined in the blazing divine lights. A huge ancient fire cauldron was formed in an instant. In the center of the ancient fire cauldron was the 1,000-foot-tall 9 Suns ancient vine. The 9 Suns divine flower, together with its roots, fell into the huge divine rune fire cauldron. Buzz, buzz. Before anyone could react, the divine rune fire cauldron trembled violently. Immediately, a shocking scene appeared. The divine rune fire cauldron, that was originally condensed into a divine rune fire cauldron, was completely solid at this moment. A vast divine power that shook the heavens and earth swept across the 9 heavens and 10 earth. That is, Northern Emperor Luan's heaven refining cauldron? Did Northern Emperor Luan come in? No, judging from this power, it should be the people from Qingbei sect who are activating the heaven refining cauldron. Are the people from Qingbei sect trying to refine all of us? How dare they fight against so many of us with the strength of one sect? They are overestimating themselves. Many Emperor Realm Masters had already rushed to the 9 Suns Divine Flower. When the people from Qingbei sect made their move, they immediately jumped into the heaven refining cauldron. This enraged the Emperor Realm Masters. They attacked one after another, causing the heaven refining cauldron to shake violently. The heaven refining cauldron was a real divine weapon. With their cultivation, it was naturally impossible for them to break it. However, it was not easy for a top Emperor Realm Master to control a divine weapon. The fiercer their attacks were, the more energy the people from Qingbei sect had to consume to control the heaven refining cauldron. Chapter 547. Rumble. In addition to the Emperor Realm Masters trapped by the Heaven Refining Divine Cauldron, the Emperor Realm Masters outside the Heaven Refining Divine Cauldron were also crazily attacking. Although Qingbei sect was a famous sect in the Heaven Domain, it was still a divine cauldron. Naturally, they would not let go of the primordial divine herb. With the Heaven Refining Divine Cauldron as the center, a violent and destructive battle broke out. But for those Emperor Realm Masters, whether it was inside or outside the Heaven Refining Divine Cauldron, intense sun force was gathering. It made them feel as if they were being baked by the scorching sun, and their combat strength was greatly reduced. Because of this, many Emperor Realm Masters began to look for Qingbei sect and the others. As long as they found their real bodies, it would not be difficult to break the Heaven Refining Divine Cauldron. Unfortunately, Li Fengtian and the others from Qingbei sect had already expected this scene. They had already set up a concealment barrier and used a secret technique to hide, so no one could find them. Chi. In the Heaven Refining Divine Cauldron, wisps of divine fire ignited by the sun force were quietly born, burning everything. When the Emperor Realm Masters who attacked crazily came into contact with the sun divine fire, their Tao powers were ignited. This made those Emperor Realm Masters extremely shocked. This was especially so when they saw that the Sun God Flame was still increasing in number. They were all filled with fear. If this continued, they would be completely refined by the Heaven Refining Divine Cauldron. Thinking of this, they immediately went all out, using all kinds of life-saving methods and trump cards. The Heaven Refining Divine Cauldron's vibration became more and more intense. This made Li Fengtian and the others from Qingbei sect feel even more pressure. Don't worry about them. First, seal the 9 Suns Divine Flower. Li Fengtian's murderous intent soared in his hazy eyes. Now that those Emperor Realm Masters were restrained, their focus could be placed on sealing the 9 Suns Divine Flower. At this time, as the Sun Divine Light fell, the 9 blooming divine flowers of the 9 Suns Divine Flower began to rotate gently. As they rotated, the 9 divine flowers were getting closer and closer. As the dazzling Sun Divine Light flickered, the 9 divine flowers gradually merged with each other. This was the final stage of the 9 Suns Divine Flowers maturation. Once the 9 divine flowers merged, the 9 Suns Divine Flower would be born. At that time, the divine flower would gain sentience, and it would be extremely difficult to capture it. Just like the immortal spiritual grass, although it was trapped in the double void secret realm, it was extremely difficult to find it. Therefore, now was the best time to seal the 9 Suns Divine Flower. Once they missed this opportunity, they might not have such a good opportunity again. The time is almost right. Qin Yu, who was quietly tailing a venerable sovereign of the northern sect, used a secret technique to sense the situation of the Nine Suns' divine flower. Immediately, he formed a seal with both hands, and wisps of dragon chi surged behind him. Rumble. As the 9 flowers became more and more condensed and fused, the center of the 9 suns in the sky once again emitted a beam of divine sunlight. A heat wave swept out, injuring all the Emperor Realm Masters trapped inside the heaven-refining divine furnace. On the other hand, after the heaven-refining divine cauldron absorbed the power of the sun, the power it contained became even more terrifying. This made the situation of the Emperor Realm Masters even worse. On the other hand, Li Fengtian and the rest of the people from Qingbei sect were greatly shaken. They began to activate the heaven-refining divine cauldron with all their might. Right at this moment, Qin Yu's expression changed slightly, and a look of shock appeared in his eyes. He sensed 3 extremely terrifying auras flying towards the sky at an extremely fast speed. The strength of these auras was definitely at the level of Saint Emperor Realm Masters, and they were not much weaker than the ancient emperor. If that was all, Qin Yu would not be so shocked. The problem was that Qin Yu felt that these 3 auras were quite familiar. It's them. In the Divine Dragon Ancient Seal, Qin Yu formed a seal with both hands, preparing to assist him with the force of space and time. Qin Yu's dragon soul also sensed it instantly. The Jiang clan's reincarnation siblings and the blood demon? This made Qin Yu and the dragon soul extremely surprised. They could not help but quietly emerge from the ground and look up. Sure enough, as they sensed, the people flying towards the 9 suns in the sky were the Jiang clan siblings and the blood demon. The Jiang clan siblings had come to the heaven domain a long time ago, so their appearance here was only a little surprising to Qin Yu. However, the fact that the blood devil has also appeared here has shocked Qin Yu. The blood demon had said that he could only seal himself in the blood demon continent and could not leave. Now, why would he appear here? Thinking of this, Qin Yu could not help but look at the 9 suns. Could there be some heaven-defying treasure hidden there? One had to know that whether it was the blood demon or the Jiang clan siblings, they were not ordinary existences. The former was a terrifying existence that had lived from ancient times until now. It would be difficult to find a second one like him in the entire heaven domain. As for the latter, he was a peerless genius from 30,000 years ago. On the day he returned from reincarnation, he directly used the force of reincarnation. Compared to Qin Yu, who had to cultivate slowly, he was more than 1 level stronger. It could be said that these 3 people, at their peak, were definitely existences that had touched the limits of the Emperor realm. The thing that the 3 of them were interested in was definitely not an ordinary treasure. One had to know that they did not pay attention to the 9 suns' divine flower that was about to mature. Who are those people? They actually dared to fly up directly. Are they tired of living? Could it be a divine emperor expert? It can't be. There are several ancient emperors guarding the entrance to the outside world. It was not only Qin Yu, but also the emperors in the mountain range, who wanted to break the heaven-refining cauldron and snatch the 9 suns' divine flower. They also noticed the blood demon and the Jiang clan siblings. Voices of astonishment rang out. Under the shocked gazes of the crowd, the blood demon and the Jiang clan siblings disappeared into the 9 suns. Bang! At this time, the 9 suns' divine flower had completely matured. The 9 divine flowers merged together. It turned into a golden divine flower with 9 petals and a fierce shadow of the sun around it. That was the mature state of the 9 suns' divine flower. Seal. Seeing this, Li Fengtian's eyes flashed with ecstasy. He immediately used a secret technique to transmit his voice. Everyone in the North sect formed seals and attacked. In the heaven-refining cauldron, flaming divine chains appeared and swept toward the 9 suns' divine flower. The 9 suns' divine flower had already gained intelligence. It turned into a wisp of fire and was about to escape from the ancient vines. However, the flaming divine chains that the North sect had specially set up contained an extremely powerful sealing force. In an instant, the Nine Suns' divine flower was bound and sealed in the void. It's a success. Li Fengtian and the others were overjoyed when they saw this. The sealing of the Nine Suns' divine flower was much smoother than they had imagined. Swoosh! However, at this moment, a figure appeared on the 1,000-foot-long golden ancient vines of the Nine Suns' divine flower. He was as fast as lightning and appeared in front of the sealed Nine Suns' divine flower. It was Qin Yu. Kill him! Although Li Fengtian was hidden underground, he knew the situation in the heaven-refining cauldron like the back of his hand. He immediately sensed that Qin Yu wanted to get his hands on the Nine Suns' divine flower. He immediately controlled the heaven-refining cauldron to kill him. Chapter 548. Boom, boom, boom. As Li Fengtian made his move, the divine fire in the heaven-refining divine cauldron boiled like boiling water. Every wisp of flame exuded a terrifying aura, as if it could burn the world. Many Emperor Realm Masters in the heaven-refining divine cauldron were killed by the boiling flames. Even the top Emperor Realm Masters found it difficult to hold on. This caused their attacks to become even more frantic and urgent. Of course, the one who suffered the most damage was Qin Yu, who was rushing toward the Nine Suns' divine flower. At this moment, the divine fire in the heaven-refining divine cauldron rushed toward Qin Yu crazily. The terrifying power instantly formed a vortex of divine fire that was about to devour Qin Yu. Gotcha! But at this critical moment, a crack that was dozens of meters long appeared somewhere in the heaven-refining divine cauldron that was filled with countless mysterious divine crests. The crack was like a natural chasm that separated the most important core divine crests of the heaven-refining divine cauldron. At this moment, the terrifying power of the heaven-refining divine cauldron was weakened countless times. The divine fire that had turned into a vortex inside the cauldron also gradually dissipated. What happened? Li Fengtian's face changed. The divine crests of the divine cauldron were broken, which meant that one of the Emperor Realm Masters who had formed the spirit array to activate the divine cauldron had encountered an accident. Otherwise, the divine crests of the divine cauldron would not have been broken. Who was it that was targeting them in the dark? The heaven-refining divine cauldron is broken? This is not the real heaven-refining divine cauldron? Let's attack together. When Li Fengtian noticed it, the Emperor Realm Masters trapped in the heaven-refining divine cauldron also noticed it immediately. At this moment of life and death, they did not hesitate at all. The top Emperor Realm Masters did their best to attack. Boom! In an instant, the crack on the divine cauldron, which was dozens of meters long, was blasted open. The Emperor Realm Masters fled frantically. At this time, the Emperor Realm Masters were also certain that the heaven-refining divine cauldron was not the real divine cauldron at all. It was only formed by the divine crests and the power of the divine cauldron. Poochie! When the divine cauldron was broken, Li Fengtian and the others from the northern sect seemed to suffer a backlash. All of them vomited blood, their qi and blood became chaotic and weakened. Break! At this moment, Qin Yu, who had arrived in front of the Nine Suns' divine flower, slammed his palm against the flame chains. With a sizzling sound, the flame divine runes melted like snow in spring and quickly disappeared. Damn it, take out the divine cauldron! When Li Fengtian sensed that scene, he forcibly suppressed the injuries in his body and transmitted his voice using a secret technique. Immediately, everyone from the Great Northern Sect performed hand seals and cast Taoist seals deep into the ground. Each of the Tao imprints contained a powerful divine might. That was the source power of Li Fengtian and the other disciples of Qinbei's sect. The real heaven-refining divine cauldron was located deep underground, in a place that was covered with hidden barriers. As the Tao imprints fused into it, the heaven-refining divine cauldron immediately trembled as if it was about to break out of the ground. So it's there. Underground, Qin Yu, who had killed a peak sovereign master by surprise and destroyed the northern sex barrier, immediately sensed the aura of the heaven-refining divine cauldron. A cold smile appeared on his face. His figure flashed, and he immediately charged towards the heaven-refining divine cauldron. Seal. When the heaven-refining divine cauldron rushed out of the barrier of Li Fengtian and the others and was about to soar into the sky and merge with the huge ancient cauldron array in the sky, Qin Yu suddenly made his move. Divine sealing light and sealing spiritual inscriptions spread out and suppressed the heaven-refining divine cauldron on the spot. Ancient and mysterious divine runes also continuously fused into the heaven-refining divine cauldron. One could clearly see that the flame divine runes on the heaven-refining divine cauldron were replaced by sealing spiritual inscriptions. How could this be? The moment Qin Yu's sealing spiritual inscriptions completely covered the entire heaven-refining divine cauldron. Li Fengtian and the other disciples of Qinbei's sect, who were using their secret techniques to summon the entire heaven-refining divine cauldron, were aghast and in disbelief. The heaven-refining divine cauldron was not under their control, and they had lost their perception of it. Quick, let's go and see the divine cauldron. At this moment, Li Fengtian, who was pale and panicked, directly burrowed into the ground and rushed towards the heaven-refining divine cauldron without even caring about the 9 suns divine flower. The heaven-refining divine cauldron was one of Northern Emperor Luan's strongest divine artifacts. If anything happened to it in their hands, they would die 1,000 deaths. Artifact controlling technique. Unseal. Noticing that the disciples of Qinbei's sect were flying over, Qin Yu's eyes were extremely cold and the corner of his lips curled up into a sneer. His hands kept changing seals and sending ancient seals into the heaven-refining divine cauldron. Hong long long. The heaven-refining divine cauldron rumbled as monstrous divine flames swept out like a volcanic eruption. In an instant, with the heaven-refining divine cauldron as the center, the land within a 1,000-kilometer radius immediately turned into a world of fire and the mountain range disappeared completely. Countless Emperor Realm Masters who had gathered immediately retreated and escaped from the world of fire. From the world of flames, they could feel the true presence of death. If they continued to stay, only death would await them. Heaven-refining. Qin Yu's rapidly changing hand seals suddenly froze as he shouted. The heaven-refining divine cauldron was like an awakened ancient beast as it crazily grew in size. In the blink of an eye, it became several thousand meters tall. Li Fengtian and the other disciples of Qinbei's sect, as well as the 1,000-meter-tall 9 suns ancient vine and 9 suns divine flower, were all enveloped by it. The heaven-refining divine cauldron is completely unsealed? Li Fengtian and the others who were rushing over suddenly froze in the void as they stared blankly at the scene in front of them. Even if they attacked with all their might, they couldn't completely unseal the power of the heaven-refining divine cauldron. The person who seized the heaven-refining divine cauldron in an instant did it so easily. Could it be that an ancient Emperor Realm Master had sneaked in? Apart from this possibility, they couldn't think of anyone else who could do it. After all, the heaven-refining divine cauldron was a divine artifact refined by Northern Emperor Luan. Unless it was in existence of the same cultivation level, it was absolutely impossible to break the seal of the heaven-refining divine cauldron so easily. Dragon Soul, Skeleton Ghost King, you can make your move now. Qin Yu ignored the shock of Qinbei's sect and the others. After he completely unsealed the heaven-refining divine cauldron with his supreme secret technique, the artifact controlling technique, he directly rushed towards the 9 suns divine flower. Now, the 9 suns divine flower had been mostly destroyed by the Dragon Chi derivation technique. Now was the best time to seize the 9 suns divine flower. When Qin Yu rushed out, a violent and bloodthirsty smell of blood swept out and a 1,000-meter-long blood-red dragon shadow appeared. It was the bloodthirsty heavenly dragon that was controlled by the dragon's soul. Along with the appearance of the bloodthirsty heavenly dragon was the skeleton Ghost King, who had reached the 7th grade Emperor realm. In the hollow eyes of the skeleton Ghost King, a light that was as deep as a black hole flickered as the ghost eye of extermination merged with the skeleton Ghost King once again. Chapter 549. To be precise, the Ghost Eye of Destruction had been completely upgraded to the Ghost Ancestor's Divine Eye. Whether it was the destruction or spirit-sealing divine ability, their power had increased by several levels. In addition, there was also the Ghost Seal, which could suppress all Ghost Dao technique. Although the Ghost Seal had no effect on Qinbei sect and the others, the destruction and spirit-sealing divine ability were enough to deal with peak sovereigns. When the power of the Ghost Eye of Destruction continued to increase, divine sovereigns and even peak ancient emperors would be able to break the seal. Roar. The violent and bloodthirsty dragon roar echoed in the heaven-refining divine cauldron, which had turned into a world of divine fire. After the dragon's soul appeared, it immediately controlled the bloodthirsty heavenly dragon and used the bloodthirsty hell to attack without any hesitation. The skeleton Ghost King's body flashed with ancient desolate beast runes as it used the boundless 10,000 beasts. Countless desolate beast phantoms appeared and rushed toward Qinbei sect and the others. Now, the heaven-refining divine cauldron was completely under Qin Yu's control. This world of divine fire, which could burn heaven and earth, was no threat to Qin Yu's dragon soul at all. However, Qinbei sect and the others were constantly being burned by the divine fire and had to use all their strength to resist. Under such circumstances, even with only the dragon soul and the skeleton, they were still able to deal significant damage to the northern sect master and the others. Although there were no casualties among the peak sovereigns, there were already more than a dozen high-level sovereigns. At this moment, Qin Yu's body rushed over. The clone of the Dragon Qi derivation technique also joined the battle, causing Qinbei sect and the others to be in an even worse situation. Battle Dragon 8 trigrams. As for Qin Yu himself, he formed 8 Battle Dragon talisman arrays in a row, forming an 8 trigram seal. Boom! The 9 Suns' divine flower seemed to have sensed danger. The majestic power of the sun burst out and completely drowned Qin Yu. This was the purest power of the sun that had been condensed by absorbing the 9 suns. It was enough to burn everything. Devour! However, Qin Yu did not avoid it at all. As the power of the sun rushed toward him, the golden divine fire on Qin Yu's body burned. The golden flames seemed to have a mind of their own as they frantically devoured the pure power of the sun. It was the golden flame heaven incinerating fire. The golden flame heaven incinerating dragon was a dragon left behind by the ancestors of the heavenly emperor palace. Although he didn't know if it was a mutation or something else, the golden heaven incinerating flame had the ability to devour other spiritual flames to strengthen itself. The power of the sun was the best nourishment for the golden heaven incinerating flame. This was also the important reason why Qin Yu wanted to fight for the 9 Suns' divine flower. This was because the 9 Suns' divine flower would allow the golden flame heaven incinerating dragon to undergo a complete transformation. As for Qin Yu, other than using the 9 Suns' divine flower as a catalyst to refine many rare and precious divine pills, he himself did not really need the 9 Suns' divine flower. To Qin Yu, even an ancient divine medicine was not as useful as a drop of dragon blood. Because only the origin dragon blood was refined, Qin Yu did not suffer any side effects. Seal. Qin Yu used the golden flame heaven incinerating fire to devour the power of the sun. At the same time, he used the Battle Dragon 8 trigrams to completely seal the 9 Yang divine flower. After sealing, a smile appeared on Qin Yu's face as he stored the 9 Suns' divine flower into the ancient seal of the dragon god. Immediately, Qin Yu looked at the people of Qinbei sect who were fighting with the skeleton Ghost King. Swoosh! The God Slayer appeared in Qin Yu's hand as he flew out at top speed. In order not to expose his identity, Qin Yu did not use the three emperors' divine ability. Although the people of Qinbei sect were now trapped in the heaven-refining cauldron, but no one could be sure that they did not have the means to escape. So, just in case, Qin Yu did not want to expose his identity. After all, he still needed to use the heaven-refining cauldron to do some other things. With the God Slayer in his hand, Qin Yu, whose body was full of ancient divine power, started a massacre. One by one, the sovereigns of Qinbei sect were killed by Qin Yu in an instant. Their blood and qi were crazily devoured by the skeleton ghost king. Damn it! How dare you kill the people of Qinbei sect? Do you know the consequences of doing so? Even the top sovereigns could not resist Qin Yu under the suppression of the ancient divine weapon, the heaven-refining cauldron. They had no choice but to use the name of Chaotic Sky Great Emperor in an attempt to intimidate Qin Yu. Chaotic Sky Great Emperor's name can't protect you here. The coldness in Qin Yu's eyes became even more intense. The God Slayer suddenly slashed out with unparalleled sword power and violent divine power. The divine fire in the heaven-refining cauldron also moved. With one slash, the top sovereigns who had tried their best to resist were beheaded. Then, Qin Yu continued to attack. One by one, the people of Qinbei sect fell at the hands of Qin Yu. Who the hell are you? Seeing the people of Qinbei sect being killed by Qin Yu one by one, Li Fengtian's eyes bulged as he stared at Qin Yu with monstrous killing intent. He originally thought that the person who unsealed the heaven-refining cauldron was an ancient Emperor Realm Master. But Qin Yu's appearance was far beyond his expectations. Although he was not sure of Qin Yu's specific cultivation, he was definitely not a top sovereigns, let alone divine sovereigns and ancient emperors. How could such a cultivation level control the heaven-refining cauldron? They could not figure it out at all. Die. Qin Yu ignored him and used the Dragon Clan's divine ability, 9 Nether Purgatory. Li Fengtian's vision turned black. Before he could react, he was killed by Qin Yu's sword and his Emperor soul was annihilated. Hong Long Long. With Qin Yu's participation, the pressure on the Dragon Soul and the Skeleton Ghost King was greatly reduced and their combat strength doubled. One by one, the sovereigns of Qinbei sect were killed. Soon, the dozens of sovereigns of Qinbei sect were all slaughtered. The Skeleton Ghost King used its divine ability, boundless 10,000 beasts, controlling the phantoms of the desolate beasts to devour their vitality. Dozens of sovereigns and more than 10 top sovereigns. After refining the blood qi, the Skeleton Ghost King's cultivation was bound to rise to another level. With the 9 Suns divine flower and the annihilation of Qinbei sect, Qin Yu's goal was achieved. He put away the Dragon Soul and the Skeleton Ghost King and held the heaven-refining cauldron in his palm. As for the world of fire, it soon dissipated as the golden heaven incinerating flames devoured the fire essence. However, Qin Yu did not leave. He looked up at the 9 suns in the sky. Qin Yu did not know if it was an illusion, but he felt that the 9 suns seemed to have dimmed a lot. There is an extremely dangerous aura in the 9 suns. The Dragon Soul saw that Qin Yu was a little restless and said. The Dragon Soul was not lying. The danger of the 9 suns made him feel a real sense of death. Not to mention the current Qin Yu, even a divine sovereigns would be in danger if they broke in. Qin Yu squinted his eyes slightly. He had indeed sensed danger, but great fortuitous opportunities often came with danger. This dual void secret realm might be related to the ancient immortals of the immemorial era. The Blood Demon and the Jiang clan siblings rushed into the 9 suns without caring about their own safety. Therefore, Qin Yu felt that there should be a great secret hidden in the 9 suns. Chapter 550. Rumble. Just as Qin Yu was pondering whether he should rush into the 9 suns to find out what was going on, an earth-shattering explosion suddenly came from the 9 suns. The 9 suns in the sky suddenly exploded at this moment, and surging waves swept over in an unbridled manner. The destructive momentum caused the boundless dual void secret realm to tremble violently. Countless living beings felt their hearts palpitate, as if doomsday was about to arrive. Even Qin Yu's body suddenly sank a few hundred feet. He was suppressed by the destructive momentum and could not help but sink. One could imagine how terrifying the power of the 9 suns exploding was. But at this moment, Qin Yu's eyes suddenly narrowed. Amidst the waves that could destroy the sun, 3 figures broke through the waves and charged out at an extremely fast speed. They were the Blood Demon and the Jiang siblings who had rushed into the 9 suns earlier. Looking at their current appearance, they were in a sorry state, and they even seemed to have suffered serious injuries. However, to be able to charge out from such a destructive power, Qin Yu was unable to refrain himself from being shocked. The cultivation of these 3 people was indeed unfathomable. Where did that person come from? At this moment, Jiang Yuanyi, whose indestructible divine body shone brightly, was in the void. After rushing out of the destructive area, he looked back at the sky with an unconcealable look of horror in his eyes. He doesn't seem to be from the Qingyun realm. Jiang Qingyu, who had the rainbow divine seal between her eyebrows and was emitting rainbow soul power, had a serious look in her eyes. That person's cultivation was so strong that it was beyond their imagination. Even though they had gone through reincarnation and mastered the power of reincarnation, they could not do anything to him. Such means were definitely not from the Qingyun realm. That guy has the aura of the immortal treasury on him. In the void hundreds of miles away from the Jiang siblings, the Blood Demon, who was dressed in a blood-red robe and had eyes like a sea of blood, was shocked. The aura of the immortal treasury was naturally the power of an ancient immortal. In other words, that person was most likely an ancient immortal who had survived from the primordial age? Above the sky where Shui Mo and the Jiang clan siblings were staring intently, there was a figure who seemed to be in a different dimension of space. The destructive waves of the 9 suns explosion did not cause any injuries to him. Your cultivation recovered quite quickly. That figure didn't care about Blood Demon and the Jiang siblings. Instead, he looked at another figure with interest. That person was Qin Yu. If Qin Yu saw this person's appearance, he would be stunned. This man's appearance was actually exactly the same as Qin Yu from his previous life. If this person were to walk out now, he would definitely be mistaken for the Dragon God Emperor from 1,000 years ago. More importantly, there were mysterious marks floating in the void behind that person. The image of a dragon could be seen within each of those markings. Those dragon silhouettes were the origin dragon seals that sealed the dragon clan's remarkable abilities. After Qin Yu reincarnated, the origin dragon marks had all disappeared. Unexpectedly, all of Qin Yu's origin dragon marks had fallen into the hands of this person. After looking at Qin Yu for a while, the person who looked exactly like Qin Yu in his previous life turned around with a strange smile and disappeared into the void. In the sky, the destructive waves of the 9 suns explosion also gradually dissipated. The sky became clear again. The 9 suns did not leave any trace. Whoosh, whoosh. The moment that person disappeared, Blood Demon and the Jiang clan siblings immediately broke through the void and disappeared from the sky. It was as if they had barged into the void where that person was. After a while, Qin Yu also flew into the sky. However, there was no trace left in the sky. The Blood Demon and the Jiang siblings had disappeared without a trace. After thinking for a while, Qin Yu did not stay for long. He stepped out and disappeared into the void. The 9 suns disappeared? Not only that, but the 9 suns divine flower and the Qinbei sect are also gone. What in the world happened? I don't know. In comparison, I'm more curious about the origins of those 4 people. It seems that many divine emperors have sneaked into the dual-sealed world this time. Since the 9 suns divine flower has been taken away by the Qinbei sect, Let's hurry up and find the immortal spirit grass. Not long after Qin Yu left, the Emperor Realm Masters who had retreated gathered again. However, they could not find any useful information at this time. After a while, they all left quickly. Their purpose in entering the dual-sealed world was to find the immortal spirit grass. At this time, Qin Yu, who had taken away the divine herb and the divine cauldron, came to a swamp in the sealed world. After setting up a barrier in the surroundings, Qin Yu directly burrowed into the ground. After opening up an open space in the depths of the ground, Qin Yu entered the divine dragon ancient seal. Dragon Soul, open the source dragon world. Qin Yu set up an altar and removed the seal on the Nine Suns divine flower. He placed it behind the altar and said to the Dragon Soul, "Roar." The Dragon Soul understood. As the primal chaos dragon chi spread out, a blazing flame swept out. The golden flames heaven incinerating dragon, who had sensed the fluctuations of the Nine Suns divine flower, immediately rushed out of the primal chaos dragon world. After coming out, the golden flames heaven incinerating dragon stared at the Nine Suns divine flower with its huge dragon eyes, but it did not dare to rush up. This was not because it was sealed by Qin Yu, but because the energy contained in the Nine Suns divine flower was too terrifying. If it swallowed it directly, even with its dragon race body, it would probably be burned to ashes in an instant. Secret technique, split. Since Qin Yu had called the golden flames heaven incinerating dragon out, he naturally had a way to let the golden flames heaven incinerating dragon fuse with the power of the Nine Suns divine flower. Qin Yu's hands quickly formed seals. In the altar, an 8 trigrams array was cast on the Nine Suns divine flower. Immediately, the 9 petals of the Nine Suns divine flower were separated and sealed by Qin Yu. These 9 petals could be used as a medicinal catalyst in the future. In the 8 directions of the 8 trigrams array, a pure golden flame flowed out. Under the guidance of Qin Yu, the 8 golden flames poured onto the dragon soul and the golden flames heaven incinerating dragon. As they refined the power of the Nine Suns divine flower, they could clearly feel it. The cultivation of the dragon soul and the golden flames heaven incinerating dragon was rising at an astonishing speed. The dragon soul's cultivation had already reached grade 9 martial emperor. Now, with the power of the immemorial divine herb, it should not be difficult for it to break through to the emperor realm. As for the golden flames heaven incinerating dragon, if it wanted to break through to the emperor realm, it would have to pass the form transformation tribulation. The double void secret realm contained the terrifying Tao of heaven and earth. But Qin Yu could feel that the golden flames heaven incinerating dragon could not pass the tribulation here. So, the golden flames heaven incinerating dragon was only accumulating power now. After going out, it would pass the form transformation tribulation and make a breakthrough in one go. Apart from that, the golden flames heaven incinerating dragon was also crazily devouring the power of the sun contained in the Nine Suns divine flower. The power it emitted was also becoming stronger. You're tuning in to the Phoenix Knights YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.